It's time for Valley High School football on the Central Iowa Sports Network. CISN.TV is the state's premier source for high school sports streaming.
Go to the fullback, Wilcoxon. Big hole! He breaks to the open!
Valley football on CISN.TV is brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields, the Better Business Bureau, Central Bank, and Mid-American Energy. Now let's go to our CISN.TV crew for Valley High School football.
Welcome into another Friday night football here at Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. My name is Emery Songer. I'm currently being joined by a guy who knows very much about this Valley football program, Keith. And Keith, this is my first opportunity to see Valley this year. Very excited to see what they're able to do. Opening up district play, District 7 Class play. This is obviously a good start to the season for the Tigers. This really starts to matter for them. District play is the most important. A lot of coaches won't always tell you that because they're start on their season. Make sure that they're playing good quality teams all the way through. But district play is really where it's at. This is perfect playoffs. You wouldn't decide who's in and who's not.
And I think everybody is ready to get it going.
Yeah, and you don't want to say anything is 100% fact, but after going 4-0 against what has been a very solid schedule in the non-district with the RPI rankings, Valley has a little wiggle room for error, but you know they'd love to roll through district play, finish with an unbeaten season, and that starts here tonight. There's obviously a lot of things that Valley can do on the offensive side of the football. What are some of the things that you're hoping to see here as their big favorite at home against Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson?
I'm in hopes, and I think all of the Valley family is very excited about seeing a good, clean game. Valley has done some fantastic things on offense. Their defense is really where they put a complete game together. But they need to clean things up just a little bit as penalties have kind of taken over in certain aspects of the game. And so I think everybody wants to see a good, clean game. That is certainly something that I'm looking for. I know that the coaches are looking for it as well. Play clean and play fast.
Defensively for Valley, this Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson team hasn't aired it out a whole awful much. This is a team that likes to run the football. What do you think that the Valley defense can do tonight to not only prove that they can continue their defensive domination we've seen the last few weeks, but also put their offense in a position to where maybe the starters can get some rest in the second half?
Well, one of the things that Valley has to realize is there's a pretty good quarterback over there. His only downfall, he's a sophomore.
Right.
And so we've seen this type of a running quarterback before, good passing quarterback. He hasn't aired it out, but he's still in the top 20 as far as overall yards. He kind of reminds me a little bit of a Mitch Randall from Waukee, who he had a starting point too as a sophomore. And so Austin Schubert's really doing a great job. They're going to have to contain him and understand it's not just about him handing the ball off to a pretty good running back and a receiver that can run some reverses. It's going to be about containing his mobility as well, because if he can extend some plays, he can throw it down the field.
Valley, their argument can be made that Valley has been the most impressive team in Class 4A so far through 4 weeks of the season, but that all can be thrown out the window now that district play starts tonight. We'll be back for Valley Stadium with the opening kickoff in minutes. This is Valley Football on CISN.
Schottenkirk Ford Indianola's kickoff event this month only. Take $16,000 off MSRP on every brand new 2019 Ford F-150 Crew Cab XLT 4x4 in stock. Plus, first responders receive an additional $1,000 bonus cash on new 2019 F-150 Super Duty, Expedition, and Ranger. New 2019 Fusion and Escape starting at just $18,999. Ford fans drive to Indianola to buy Fords. A kickoff event. Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. SchottenkirkFord.com.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Moms typically get to make a majority of the healthcare decisions for their family. That can be a lot of pressure, but not for me, because I know the choice is ours. For medical tests like MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, and of course mammograms, ask your doctor to refer you to Iowa Radiology. They work around our hectic schedules, they're the best at what they do, and they're so great with my family. They truly care, and it shows. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule an appointment. Iowa Radiology.
And welcome back into Valley Stadium here in West Des Moines. We are just minutes away from the opening kickoff of district play, Class 4A District 7. The Valley Tigers taking on the Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson Yellowjackets. Myself, Emery Songer. I'm joined by Keith Bornis. Keith, you're part of the coaching staff for this program as well. You've seen a lot of these kids filter through. And before we get to our keys of the game, who do you think are a couple of players that you're really looking for good matchups, good performances from them here tonight?
I'm looking at our offensive line as a collective. They really need to control the line of scrimmage tonight and show that they can. They have been consistently improving, but I expect a big step forward as this should be a confidence-building game for them. Somebody that they're going to be blocking for, Creighton Mitchell. He had a breakout game last week, rushing for 222 yards. Only 8 other rushers in Valley history have had more in a single game. And so he is an explosive runner. He is a kind of a flashy runner. You think you got him, and then you can't bottle him up. And so I'm expecting him to come out and perform very well. Lastly, I would like to see Braden Ketcher and Ryan New make connections, stretching the field vertically and scoring some touchdowns through the air.
Yeah, Catcher, the quarterback, the last name is not Lombardi for the first time in a long time, and to see him hook up with what has been a favorite target for Valley quarterbacks the last couple of years, Ryan New, that'd be nice to see if you're a Valley Tiger fan as we move forward. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the keys to the game that you've lined out here, Keith, because despite Valley feeling very good about their chances to not only win this game but win it handily, there are some things like you've mentioned that you really want to see. What are some of the keys to the game?
They got to clean it up and make sure that they play good, clean, crisp football. Eliminate penalties and just do what you know you can do. They've practiced for over a month now. They've had 4 games under their belt, 4 solid football games under their belt. This needs to be a game that is going to be very, very clean. The next thing they need to do, play some up-tempo football. Conditioning is going to be a factor in tonight's game. You take a look at Council Bluffs, TJ, of the 22 people listed on the 2 deep, 14 names are listed on offense and defense. So up-tempo is really going to take Council Bluffs out of its rhythm and wear them down. And then finally, on the offensive and defensive side, they need to come in and just finish plays.
Finishing play is certainly something that you don't think as being something that's important because you think kids do. Mm-hmm. But even at the professional level, sometimes when you think the whistle is about to happen, you let up a little bit, and that's sometimes where you can get caught. And Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson is going to try to take advantage of some of those missteps if Valley allows them to happen. Obviously, the coaching staff going to try to make sure that that doesn't happen here tonight. Week 5 action, week 1 of district play. It is Valley High School football right here on CISN.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather's specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
We're back here live from Valley Stadium. It is week 5 of the high school football season. Emery Songer on the play-by-play, joined by my color man Keith Bornis. And Keith, expecting a little bit of weather here tonight. It has been kind of misty and rainy throughout the day here in central Iowa, but for the most part right now, it's pretty solid football weather for late September. Do you think if the weather does become a little bit wet, that would become a factor for both of these teams tonight?
Well, you know, the biggest difference between the varsity and the freshman levels, they have more footballs at the varsity level. And so being able to rotate balls in and keep them dry, it's not as big a factor with multiple footballs being able to be put into at different times. And then also with the playing surface itself, we don't want 12 inches of rain, but we can manage 12 inches of rain with the playing surface that we have. So it'll become a distraction, but it's not going to have a huge effect unless it becomes a downpour.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's take a look at what these two teams have done so far this season. Valley, of course, 4-0. They're among the top teams in the state of Iowa. The Des Moines Register has them ranked in the top 5 as they have been all season long. A win on the road at Southeast Polk, and that was not without a little bit of a sweat because Southeast Polk kind of shocked Valley, I think, in the early going. I don't think how many people really expected a ton out of Southeast Polk this year. They've been a surprisingly good team, and that's the only loss they've had this season, and they had Valley down by a couple of scores.
They did. Now, the only people that weren't really shocked by it would be the coaching staff, who has watched Southeast Polk continually move forward. They have an exceptional sophomore class, and as those athletes mature and get used to the speed of the varsity game, it wouldn't surprise me if Polk is contending for a state title in the next couple of years. Another team that has a very good class, Ankeny, has a very good junior class, and so, you know, when you look at those two schools, so we knew going in Polk was going to be very good. It's just that they didn't have a name that they had in the past and started to maybe kind of look by them. People were expecting our defense to be pretty solid, but our offense got moving so slow that it wasn't until the second half that Valley really started to look like a complete team.
Yeah, after that they were able to beat Jaden Williams, the running back that you were alluding to. He is now on the Dowling Catholic Maroons, in Valley able to beat them here at Valley Stadium 29-22. On the road at Cedar Rapids Kennedy, a win by 28-14 margin. That was at Kingston Stadium over in Cedar Rapids, and then against Waukee here. I expected that to be kind of a hard-nosed game. Waukee, a lot of people have high hopes for what they are able to do this year. looked a little bit more like themselves in week 3, but immediately came to Valley Stadium and got walloped. 38-10 was the final score there. So Valley on a 4-game winning streak. On the other side, Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson 2-2. They've lost their last 2 games to Denison Schleswig and Lewis Central. We know Lewis Central is one of the top teams in Class 3A as well, but those were both home games, and for the most part, if you're Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson, it does not get easier this week. They do have a little bit of relief with home games against Des Moines North and Ames coming up, and then Council Bluffs Lincoln at home to wrap up the season. But a road game here and a road game in week 8 against Urbandale, those can definitely be a little bit tricky on the road for Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. The other games tonight, Ames at Des Moines North. One of those 2 teams will get a district win in that one, and it very well may be the only one that those 2 teams are able to get. So that's a big matchup for them. And then, of course, Urbandale at Council Bluffs Abe Lincoln happening tonight as well in District 7. District play getting underway here in all 6 classes in high school football here in the state of Iowa, and we're excited to bring you some action here with the Valley Tigers taking on Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. The starting lineups, let's quickly just go through what we're expecting to see for the starters for Valley. Along the offensive line, Colby Christensen, Mason Aris, Zach Shaner, Nick Budholf, and Logan Mueller are going to be your left to right on the offensive line, and all 5 of those guys are seniors. Not a surprise there. Those fellows in the trenches, much like Dowling Catholic, Valley notorious for having big physical linemen on both sides of the ball.
And they have put the time in the weight room. They look so good. As far as, there have been guys that are bigger that have come through Valley, but I don't know that there are guys that have been as tough just on themselves getting into the weight room and really progressing into becoming a pretty strong offensive line.
The rest of the skill position players, of course, Braden Ketcher is going to be your senior quarterback. The backs that we're expecting to see touch the football, senior Creighton Mitchell, Nate Wilcoxon, and then the junior Jaden Williams also should get some touches. The receiver position, Jack Johnson listed as the only legitimate wide receiver, along with Ryan New, of course, which has been a favorite target here. Both of those guys are seniors. And then a sophomore, Eli Randon, is going to be your tight end here tonight. For Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson, as they continue to get ready for the coin flip there, quick peek at what they're going to have on the offensive side. Austin Schubert's going to be leading the way as the QB. His offensive line is Austin Renshaw, Angel Silva, Cameron Hasty, Charles Kosam, and James Freeze. Those are going to be from left to right. Your your tailback and fullback, Jermaine Green's the tailback. Dylan Carmen's going to be his lead blocker as the fullback. At tight end will be Hunter Jones, and then Coron Owens and J.J. Johans. Those are your top 2 receivers that will be flanking for Austin Schubert. And we don't expect them to get a ton of touches, but they can be explosive, and they've shown that so far this season. As 2 teams shake hands, midfield, 12 minutes on the clock. We're getting ready for some high school football here as district play kicks off in the state of Iowa.
One of the things that people need to kind of take into consideration, and certainly the Valley sideline does, is the fact that, you talk about Thomas Jefferson playing against Lewis Central being a very good football in Class 3A. Austin Schubert had his best game passing through the air with 150 yards that night. So if there's a pretty solid defense here, the running game maybe doesn't take effect right away, he can throw the ball, and he's got some people outside, as you were talking about.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks they were on the road in Sioux City at Sioux City West and Sioux City North and picked up big wins there, 31-6 and 43-19. Respectively, but we know that no disrespect to those Sioux City schools, but here in central Iowa, Valley, Dowling, Waukee, Southeast Polk, a lot of these suburban schools, Ankeny, Centennial, when you start running into them, you could even throw Urbandale in there. They are a fringe playoff team as well, you'd think, coming into this year. It's going to be a tough test here for Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson, and they'd love to shock the state of Iowa and let everybody know that they are somebody you have to keep account for here in District 7 in Class 4A. Valley set to kick off. We're ready for some football here on Week 5. Kick is booted away, and it will go through the end zone for a touchback, and we are getting set for the first offensive series for Austin Schubert and the rest of the Yellowjackets.
Not a lot of kickoffs that have gone into the end zone by Valley this year. That was a very nice kick, good height and a deep kick. A little bit of the wind to his back, and certainly used it right there.
Schubert giving the signal to his guys, just a sophomore. A lot of promise, as Keith mentioned earlier on here, but the playbook's going to have to open up a little bit more here against the Valley Tigers. Line up 3 wide receivers, 2 to the far side. got a little bit of H-back action. It's going to be a little inside handoff, trying to dance around, nothing doing there for the back Jermaine Green, and it will be no gain on the play. So Green, no gain on the play for the first play from scrimmage. And again, those big uglies down low. We talk about it on the offensive side, but defensively for Valley, they got a lot of dudes too.
Indeed. Cale Sampson in there on the tackle. Granquist did a very nice job setting the edge, making the play come back to the inside right where Cale Sampson was ready for him.
Going to come back out with 3 wide receivers, 2 to the far side as well. Looks like man coverage across the board. It's going to be a fake handoff. No, they are going to hand it off again to Green. This time he is able to bury through the guard in the center for about 4, it appears, before a group of Tigers able to bring him down. One of the first guys in on the play, coming back from his position as a safety, is Drew Gyrak.
Jermaine Green, he is a load back there, 6 foot, 220 pounds. He's got very good speed, great strength. He was a state qualifier in track in the discus, so he's a big guy that knows how to carry his body.
Going to play a little T-formation football here. They're going to pitch it to Green. He's going to try to go off right tackle, but not a whole lot of space there for him. Just a couple of yards on the play. You know he's going to be the bell cow throughout this game. Just going to set up a 4th and 4, though, and that's why we talk about, Keith, that playbook's going to have to open up a little bit, because you're going to have to do a little bit more than that to get these Valley Tigers to not be in the position that they're supposed to be in.
Yes, 3 plays averaging 1.5 yards each isn't going to get it done. And in fact, the only thing that it will do is keep the clock moving.
Right, which is something that I'm sure Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson is going to want to do. That is a little rugby-style punt, nearly blocked. Maybe it was touched, but it is a short kick, generous bounce here for the Yellowjackets, and it will roll and stop at the CBTJ 46-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will take over, wearing those black uniforms trimmed in white. An opportunity here for the first time to see the offense just 2 minutes into this game.
Yes, looking forward to seeing what Braden Ketcher is going to be able to do here. I had a conversation with Braden earlier in the week, and we started to talk about him growing up. This is the first time since 8th grade that he has been a starter in football.
It's crazy to think about, but it's a huge spot for a team that very well could be state championship contenders. Nothing doing on the inside handoff here, however. Creighton Mitchell is the guy who gets the first touch. They're going to mark him for a loss of 1 to the 47.
Certainly not the way you want to get started, as the defensive line there for Thomas Jefferson did a great job of just standing the O-line up, and the stalemate actually became a loss. A
little bit of tempo here. Nice little stutter step, breaking out of the open field inside the 40, inside the 30, and down to about the 24-yard line. An excellent run in between the tackles for Creighton Mitchell, who once again, we talk about his explosiveness in the pregame show there, and after being bottled up on what was a nice tackle by Junior Silva in the middle, that time he did find a gap and a big gainer of about 25 yards.
A great job. You know, you just get done scolding the offensive line for that stalemate, and then have that open up. But you don't need a huge crease for Creighton Mitchell. He is very elusive, and they always talk about running backs getting skinny, and he is able to do that.
Here's a handoff straight up the middle, another big hole, little bit of a move, loses his man, and it's going to be a 23-yard touchdown run. Creighton Mitchell, and with 9:12 to go in the first quarter, Valley immediately puts a 6th spot on the scoreboard with the extra point to follow.
With plays like that, you wonder if some of the guys are thinking ahead to homecoming, as that's what we're celebrating here.
Absolutely. Got a big crowd on hand, as you always do here at Valley, as Sam Ridgway set to put in the extra point. It's on the way, and it is good. 7-0 Valley High School, 9:12 to go. We'll take a quick break, come back with more. Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson will get it back when we come back here on CISN.
Hi, I'm Chris from Fireplace Superstore. Fall is upon us and fireplace season is here, and you need a new Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert. They're the perfect thing to make that old wood fireplace more beautiful, warmer, and easier to use. And right now, Heat and Glow is giving a $200 rebate, making it even easier for you to upgrade that old fireplace. Please come see them today. Fireplace Superstore, 109th and Douglas in Urbandale.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Another touchback on the kickoff here live from Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. 7-0 the score. Valley, a 3-play drive, all handoffs to Creighton Mitchell. One of them lost a yard and then 2 23-yard pickups to get him into the end zone. And myself, Emery Songer, along with Keith Bornis, 7-0 Valley. Defensively, like to get another quick 3-and-out here and get that ball back to the offense.
Or start playing a very aggressive defense, become offensive-minded. You know, Valley hasn't had a ton of takeaways this year. Certainly something that they need to be working on and focusing in on tonight.
Going to go with 3 wide receivers again are the Yellowjackets, 2 to the far side. Back, looking at to drop it off to him on a little wheel route, but unfortunately for the Yellowjackets, a little bit far out from Austin Schubert. Just a little bit too much as he was looking for the back Jermaine Green. You could kind of see immediately the way that route was setting up. He was the only read on that play.
That's right. They were bringing Hunter Jones down there to get a block on the corner, and he did a nice job. He had him bottled up, but the pass just a little bit too far.
The sophomore quarterback going to have to shore those things up if Thomas Jefferson wants to stick in this game. A little pistol action potentially here with 3 wide receivers and an H-back. It will be an inside handoff, and immediately there's 5, 6, 7 black jerseys all around him. He might have gotten 2 there, but I mean, if you could just start naming names, Jacob Coleman, C.J. Stillman, Nasir Washington, they were all in among the first guys there, and then plenty more joined the fray later.
But you have to be impressed with Jermaine Green. He had nowhere to go, and he was able to power forward for a gain of 2.
Once again, a 3rd and 8 here, and this is going to be a quick throw. This one will be caught by the wide receiver on the far side, but he'll be well short of a first down, a gain of 3. That one all the way outside. And that was Teron Owens. And Owens, a 6'4" target, 175 pounds. You'd figure they're going to feature him quite a bit more in their offense, but Teron Owens, just 6 catches coming in. He is averaging over 15 yards per reception, but no touchdowns in there, but just a gain of 3.
And one of their multi-sport athletes. He's a very good basketball player and track athlete.
Another punt on the way here from, and another shorty. This one is going to bounce straight out of bounds at about the 37, 38-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will take over once again. So the defense does their job again. You can tell that Thomas Jefferson want to get it out of the hands of Schubert. They don't want to let that offensive line or defensive line from Valley get to him. At the same time, the running game's going to have to do a little bit better than 1 or 2 yards per carry if they're going to make anything happen there.
Absolutely, and one of the things that we do expect out of Thomas Jefferson, there will be some misdirection plays, but you know, you lull a team to sleep, and then throw something new at them. Kind of sets a surprise to see what Jones and Smith are able to do out there.
Little I formation look in the backfield, but it's going to be a throw down the field, wide open, just missed his man Jack Johnson. Did Braden Ketcher. Everything was perfect there. Beat his man off the line of scrimmage, but just about 3 yards too far, and it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 38 in Yellowjacket territory.
Braden Ketcher doing a fantastic job when he has a chance to set his feet. He's dropping back to the five-step depth, and when he has an opportunity to stay in the pocket, he's proven that he is a pocket passer and fairly accurate.
Creighton Mitchell, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. He's back in the backfield, and he will get another play action. They're going to go deep again. Same area. This one caught by Johnson. He'll run into the end zone. Ketcher made the adjustment there, Keith, and a 38-yard touchdown strike for the 2nd TD of the match.
You can't give Braden Ketcher that much time. So TJ is going to have to dial up some pressure if they're going to get Braden Ketcher off of his game a little bit. But give credit to the Valley offensive line. They did a great job forming the pocket, and after the fake to Mitchell, it was all over.
3rd touchdown reception for Johnson this season. That's the 10th touchdown pass by quarterback Braden Ketcher, and the extra point added on by Sam Ridgway, and quickly 14-0, 7:49 left here in the first quarter. We'll go ahead and we'll take another break, and when we come back, Valley will kick it away once again right here. Valley football on CISN.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Every month or so, there's another story in the media about when and how often we need to get our mammograms. Kind of confusing. When this happens, I like to consult with experts. So I called Iowa Radiology. They recommend women get an annual mammogram starting at age 40. They know that it's the best way to detect cancers early and save lives. And that's good enough for me. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule your mammogram. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
The kickoff attempt by Valley out of the break ends up being an offsides, and they'll move it back and try it again. Valley up 14-0, 5 offensive plays, 2 touchdowns, including a 23-yard run by Creighton Mitchell on the first drive, 38-yard pass to Jack Johnson from Braden Ketcher. Emery Songer alongside Keith Bornis. It's been Valley showing what they're capable of so far with still 7:49 left here in the first quarter. And the kickoff is on the way. It's a little bit shorter. It's going to be received at the 15-yard line by the Yellowjackets. A little bit of a seam up the middle, and the return man's going to be dropped at the 33-yard line. That was Aiden Flynn, and it'll be Yellowjacket ball. What do you got to see from the defense here? Because obviously when we take a look at this, through the first 6 plays, 2 quick 3-and-outs, maybe it's more about what you're going to see offensively here from the Yellowjackets.
Right. Right now, Valley is forcing them to try and beat them with the pass. I don't know that that's what Thomas Jefferson wants to do as they get into a very tight formation here.
Yeah, they're going with that loaded backfield, little T formation action, maybe the wishbone. They're going to hand it to the first back through, and he's going to power ahead for 2 maybe. I'm a big fullback fan, Keith. I kind of like the old school, seeing an old wishbone thing going out there and handing it to that fullback there. But you're going to have to do a little bit more misdirection if you're going to get that defensive line from Valley to be a little bit more off balance.
Right, and one of the things that the linebackers are doing, Coach Willie Thornton has done a fantastic job getting those linebackers to continue to read the keys, because your guards are still going to take you to where the ball is, regardless of what the misdirection is in the backfield.
Quick throw out here into the flat, and that's going to be no gain. Excellent job coming up and making a nice tackle once again by Kadar Lewis. The target there was Coron Owens once again, his second catch, but again for nearly nothing.
Right, and fantastic job by Kadar coming up there and making that play, because we certainly know what Mr. Owens is capable of, as he is lightning fast when it comes to getting down the field. He's a big target as well.
6'4", you can't make that up. You can't coach that.
No.
That's a big target as well. On 3rd and 8, they will bring it in tight once again in this wishbone look with 2 tight ends and 3 backs. A little bit of motion, and they will pitch it to their man. But first man through, what an excellent job there by C.J. Stillman getting the first contact. Tackle for loss. A loss of 4 on the play. Nowhere to go for Jermaine Green, and it'll be another punt formation here for the Yellowjackets.
An excellent job by the defensive front of Valley reestablishing the line of scrimmage into the Yellowjacket backfield.
2 return men back. We haven't seen a lot of long punts so far from this unit. Snap is high. It is fielded, and the punt just getting it away. This one end over end. It will bounce and get a great Thomas Jefferson bounce, and it will be down right around the 30-yard line. That time a good job by Carter Harold, the punter, to get that one just away before it was and that's something that we see more and more in the high school and collegiate level, Keith, is kind of that rugby style where it's kind of end over end. That way it does get that generous roll.
Absolutely. It is time for all of us to remember the rules to the kicking game. Don't be offsides, don't rough the kicker or the holder, and never let the ball hit the ground, because on average, it's 15 extra yards.
Now that was at least 15 extra yards on that roll as well. Valley, their worst starting field position so far at their own 30. The snap, catcher's going to hand it off. This is going to be an off tackle to the left side, and another big hole. This one for Jaden Williams. He's down the sideline, and he will not be touched. 70 yards, and Valley is pouring it on here in the first quarter.
Nice job there getting the gap opened up there on the stretch play. And Jaden Williams, that's the fastest I've seen him run without hurdles in front of him, as he's been a part of the shuttle hurdle relay team for Coach Trigstead and the boys track team. But he looked phenomenal there. Not sure if anybody was going to catch him.
The 6'1", 190-pound junior able to get his first touch of the game. And it wasn't anything special there as the extra point on the way from Ridgeway. It was down your throat, off the left tackle, and there was a bus width of a lane there. The extra point from Ridgeway made it 21-0. 5:30 to go first quarter. All Valley here. 6 offensive plays, 3 touchdowns. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this. It's Valley Football on CISN.
Every month or so, there's another story in the media about when and how often we need to get our mammograms. Kind of confusing. When this happens, I like to consult with experts. So I called Iowa Radiology. They recommend women get an annual mammogram starting at age 40. They know that it's the best way to detect cancers early and save lives. And that's good enough for me. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule your mammogram. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
21-0, West Des Moines Valley looking strong. I mean, I think that's the right word to use for this moment as Eric Penagua is getting set for a kickoff. 6 offensive plays run by Valley. 3 of them go for touchdowns. At the 2-yard line, ball is bobbled and picked up by the return man, and he is going to be buried at about the 11-yard line. And that was J.J. Johans, the sophomore wide receiver. He's only 5'4". He's a little bit quick, but there he didn't give himself a chance after he bobbled the return.
No, he certainly didn't. You know, over the course of the year, we've talked about the differences in the kickoff game, whether you want to try and get it in the end zone and have everybody start at the 20, or if you're going to try and have a very high kick that is going to let your coverage get down there, cover the ball, and as we saw here, it's well inside the 20 for some rough starting position for TJ.
And TJ hasn't really mattered where the starting position was. The offense hasn't done a whole lot. 3 and out so far, and they're going to line up in that wishbone once again. A little bit of motion as well, and they're going to pitch it to the deep back. And, I mean, it's almost like one of those old Western doors almost where the defense is coming off the line of scrimmage so quickly and making that tackle in the defensive backfield. Jacob Coleman among those in on the play, but that's a loss of 5 on first down.
And here's the other thing. You know, Valley has been a pretty slow starting offense this year. The defense has been very consistent. One of the things that people that are playing Valley don't like to see is when the offense is clicking because the defense gets tougher.
And now if you're going to even try to get back into this game, you got to start chucking it around. They are going to throw it this direction, this one over the head of everyone. Karan Owens was the man who was being intended, but great coverage on this near side. The man there on the coverage for Valley was Jake Castor. And Castor, I mean, if that ball would have been on target, Castor might have had an opportunity at an interception. So not terrible from Schubert just to overthrow everybody.
Right. You know, it is a mismatch, however. Castor is not the tallest guy in the world, but as long as we've known him, he certainly plays bigger than he is.
Here once again, this is going to be a deep pass and nearly intercepted. That one landed in the lap of Ethan Seskowski, and that's one of those throws that Schubert, he's got one read, he's got 15 yards to make up, he's just going to launch it in the air and hope something good happens. And with the across-the-board zone coverage, that one was in the air for a while as like a punt, basically to be caught by Seskowski, but it did not work in his favor. But instead, it's going to be 4th and 15 from the own 6-yard line of TJ, and the punter now all of a sudden is standing just inside his own end line.
Yes, his shoes are dangerously close to the orange of out of bounds.
It is caught. He does not get it blocked, but it is high in the air. Fair catch is called for and made at just the 21-yard line, a 15-yard punt. The man on the catch, Nate Loker, but there is a foul, and they're going to get a personal foul.
And that's 15 yards.
So the ball's going to be at that spot. Unfortunately for Valley, it's going to be TJ Ball for an automatic first down. And you talked about it. You don't want to rough the kicker, but they were so close the last couple of times. And as soon as you run into that guy, you're giving the referee a reason to throw that flag and keep the ball in the possession of the Yellowjackets.
Yes, one of the things that is always talked about is if you are going to go ahead and hit the punter, you better touch that ball first.
Because that wipes that out.
Absolutely.
They've been very close. I'm not sure exactly how the last two haven't gotten blocked, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But they have not, and that allows Thomas Jefferson to maintain possession. So they have it at their own 21-yard line, and it is 1st and 10, although they do trail it 21-0 with 4:29 left here in the first.
And that is the first down of the game for TJ. When your defense is playing that well, you don't always want to give up a first down, because after you give up the first down, then all of a sudden here comes the second first down, and you don't want to let a team, when you have them down, you don't want to give them any breath to try and get back out.
In the shotgun, Schubert drops back. He's looking, fires over the middle. This one is intercepted down the middle at the 35-yard line. Drew Jirak is sitting in coverage, dropped back into a little bit of his own. Schubert never saw him, and he makes a great play. And Valley does have the football now at the Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson 35-yard line.
Drew Jirak.
Sorry.
That's all right. He's a great defensive back. Led the team last year with 9 interceptions. This year he's just got his second one. He has 11 in his career, and that is number 3 all-time for Valley.
It's a pretty good list.
Yes.
Going to have an opportunity here to see Drew Peterson take some snaps in the first quarter. 21-0, Peterson in at QB. He's got a single back, 3 wide receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Play action, a little bit of pressure. There is a flag, and Peterson will launch it. It's a good throw. It's caught inside the 20, and it will be a touchdown catch from Nate Loker, but I believe this one will come back for a hold on the offensive line of Valley.
Well, you talk about a quarterback, the differences between quarterbacks. Braden Catcher, truly a pocket passer. If he has to scramble, he's not going to extend the play very long. Drew Peterson comes in, real good with his feet, extended that play so well that it gave his wide receiver, Nate Lasher, an opportunity to get open. Unfortunately, sometimes when you extend the play, laundry starts to come out because, well, the reason you were extended, because sometimes people are holding a little bit.
That was the case there. Got him on the left tackle. Colby Christensen picked up the flag there. It's going to be 1st and 20. Peterson going to throw this one over the middle. A little bit high, but look at the catch made inside the 25 down to about the 20-yard line there by the tight end Eli Randon. The sophomore is 6 feet 6 inches. Needed every last inch there to be able to pull that one down.
He sure did, and you know, it was a misprint here on his name. It's Raridan, and it's reading as an N on our sheet up here. So Eli Raridan, coming from that long lineage of Rardens that have been coming through Valley and playing well.
It's not Valley guys having some problems with these names, I tell you what. Here's going to be a handoff up the middle, and look at the tackles being broken by Jaden Williams all the way down inside the 10 to the 5. Gee whiz. I mean, that is just hard-nosed running by a kid who's touched the ball twice and has looked excellent both times.
Absolutely. You know, as we have talked about all season, the difference between Creighton Mitchell and Jaden Williams is the fact that Creighton Mitchell, yes, he is explosive, he's elusive. When it comes to Jaden Williams, he is emotional power, and he just thrives on contact and wanting to explode down the field.
He's going to get it again right up the gut, and he's in once again. His second touchdown run of the game. This one from 5 yards out. It's 27-0 Valley with 3:18 left in the first quarter. You know, you don't want to come into games assuming that it's going to be an easy game to score points and to get the ball back and to try to take all the pressure off of, you know, having to worry about the result here, as the opportunity for Sam Ridgeway to add another extra point, and this one's whistled dead. It'll be an encroachment on CBTJ. But, I mean, what have you seen? As a coach on the sideline, you're up 4 scores already with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. How do you keep the guys kind of engaged, and what are you trying to look for here for the rest of the game?
The finishing of plays, and that is one thing that you will continue to harp on no matter what the score is. If you're ahead or behind by a little or a lot, you finish plays, because when you let down, that's when mistakes happen, that's when injuries happen.
Ridgeway adds the extra point. It's 28-0 Valley over Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. Kickoff next right here. It's Valley Football on CISN. We're back 28-0. Valley leads with 3:18 to go over Thomas Jefferson from Council Bluffs. My mistake. That was Aiden Feldman on the extra point, the senior kicker. Good thing I got a Valley guy up here. This first time seeing the squad. I apologize for the name butchering, but you know, it is what it is.
You know, they were freshmen at one time, and I butchered their names then
right.
too.
Here's Ridgeway with the kickoff. This one's going to be a shorty. Once again, this one will be allowed to bounce. It will be picked up by Owens. He's going to step across the 20 to about the 21 before being brought down by the coverage unit for Valley.
Nice job by the kickoff coverage as the kickoff went to the 15, but TJ's going to start out on the 20.
Cale Sampson was there on the stop for the Tigers. 3:11 left. It's already a 4-score game. It's about as efficient an offensive start as you could imagine for the Valley Tigers offensively. And defensively, besides the interception on the last possession, everything has been a 3-and-out, and the interception was after a roughing the punter call on what was another 3-and-out. Wishbone-style offense here for the Yellowjackets. It will be a pitch trying to break a bunch of tackles. He's running hard. Is the running back there, Jermaine Green. 220 pounds. He is not a small man by any means, but the senior does not have a lot of holes to run through, at least so far, with Valley plugging those holes.
He doesn't, and there aren't very many people that are going to be able to stop Jermaine Green one-on-one. He's just too powerful and too fast. But when you run into a phone booth that is full, you're really not going to go anywhere no matter how strong you are.
Again, they're going to tighten it up, just trying to get as many blockers in piece as they can. They're going to come to the other side. Nice little move just to get back to the line of scrimmage by their fullback. I believe that's Cameron Hasty. And no gain on the play. It'll be a 3rd and 9.
You're now getting to the point in the game where even though it's only been 10 minutes old from the clock's standpoint, the guys that are going both ways, it's exhausting. You're hanging on by a thread to begin with, and now you're doing that with no grip left in your strength.
Once again on 3rd and 9, and back to throw, and finding an open man. Owens is there. He makes the catch at the 41, a 20-yard pickup on a nice delivery there by the QB, Austin Schubert, and the sophomore. That's clearly his best throw that we've seen so far tonight. And Owens, you talk about he's a big target. If you give him a one-on-one matchup, he's got an opportunity to bring it down.
Absolutely. The key to stopping a big, tall wide receiver is getting pressure on the quarterback. And with all of the motion in the backfield and short dives that they've been running, when the quarterback steps back and launches it up there, sometimes you forget about receivers.
Wishbone, here's the little pitch. They're going to have a little counter on the reverse. This one's going to be run by J.J. Johans, and Johans going to get 2 to the 43. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. You're going to have to be a little bit deceptive. You're going to have to be able to execute those counters, those little reverses, because Valley is going to be plugging holes straight line. And even that was only a 3-yard pickup there for Thomas Jefferson.
Right. And, you know, J.J.'s in a situation, he doesn't have an abundance of carries because he's got over 150 yards on the season, 96 of them coming on one play. So you know that he's an explosive back.
Fake on the screen. Schubert's going to roll to his right. He'll throw across his body into the dirt, intended for Owens.
That may have been the safest play for everybody as everyone was covered, and Valley's defense was closing in on him quick.
48.9 seconds left here in this first quarter. Valley 28-0, and it's another 3rd and 6. Make it 7 here for the Yellowjacket offense. They'll tighten it up once again after experimenting in the shotgun last time. Schubert under center. Takes the snap. He drops back looking to throw under pressure. He rolls to his left. Little jump pass, and it is going to be brought down, but slipping and falling, and there's going to be a penalty, I believe, of roughing the passer, as 2 guys came flying in there. They were Jake Coleman and Carson Shelton, but they're going to get roughing the passer as it was caught. It was a nice catch there made on the outside by Hunter Jones, but he slipped and fell before he could get the first down. Won't matter. You can add 15 to the end of the catch at the 48-yard line. And for the first time, Thomas Jefferson, by way of penalty, is going to have a 1st and 10 from inside Valley territory.
3 first downs, 2 by penalty.
Their ears are pinned back. You can tell that right now, but they got to kind of maintain a little bit of self-control and discipline.
Absolutely. When your eyes get real big because you're closing in on a sack, if he doesn't have the ball, he's no longer a target.
Clock rolling. 1st and 10 from the Valley 37. This is as far down the field as Thomas Jefferson has gotten to this point. They're in the shotgun, 2 wide receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. 1 back and an H-back. This is going to be a handoff. And Jermaine Green trying to find a little bit of space, and he's going to be brought down after a loss of a couple. Once again, the interior line, that front, you're going to have to, you want to keep them honest, Keith, but at the same time, nothing has been doing anywhere near the tackles.
Absolutely, and still, I am very impressed with Green. He is just a power back and is able to do some great things as he just doesn't have anywhere to go, but he's making his own holes.
That's the end of the first quarter, 28-0. Valley leads Thomas Jefferson. TJ going to have the ball when we come back, knocking on the red zone door. You're listening to Valley Football on CISN.
Schottenkirk Ford Indianola's kickoff event this month only. Take $16,000 off MSRP on every brand new 2019 Ford F-150 Crew Cab XLT 4x4 in stock. Plus, first responders receive an additional $1,000 bonus cash on new 2019 F-150 Super Duty, Expedition, and Ranger. New 2019 Fusion and Escape starting at just $18,999. Ford fans drive to Indianola to buy Fords. A kickoff event. Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. SchottenkirkFord.com.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Start of the second quarter, it's going to be 2nd and 13 from the 40 in Valley territory. Jailbreak, a throw over the middle, caught by Owens. He's got it at the 25, trying to make a man miss. He's dragging him inside the 15. Ball is out, and it's going to be Valley who comes out away with the football on the recovery. An excellent effort from Kuwan Owens, but that time, I mean, you cannot fault him for trying to get some extra yardage, but they were looking for that football, and they were able to get it out and recover it at the 12-yard line, and Valley will maintain possession.
One of the first things that the Valley defense learns as freshmen is from Coach Mitchell when they talk about first guy to the ball, you stop the ball. Second, third, and fourth guy, you start stripping that ball. And Valley did a great job finishing the play, but one of the things that's going to be talked about now is on the sideline is going to be, why is he so wide open?
Now, he came across on the deep in route, made the catch, was inside the 20-yard line, but was unable to hang on to possession. Valley's got the football, 1st and 10 from their own 12. We're starting field position of the game so far. They have it with an I formation. This is going to be a handoff. And coming to this near side once again, you can see the burners now across the 30 for Creighton Mitchell, the 40. He's going to come all the way back across the field. Little juke move there. He's still loose at the 40. He's inside the 30. Looking for the angle on the sideline. 10, 5. 88 yards for Creighton Mitchell. No flags on the play. This kid is electric.
And if the camera would have been just right on the sideline, every coach from Valley's just looking. Is this clean? Is it clean? Don't make that block that you don't need to make. The play is way out of your position. You're far behind the play. Don't do anything foolish. No laundry on the field.
That was a schoolyard play on just a direct handoff off left tackle for Creighton Mitchell, and he busted it up for an opportunity once again for a touchdown. His second of the game. Extra point is good. 11:28 left. 88-yard touchdown run. A quick, efficient drive there. Thomas Jefferson will get it back. 35-zip. They're behind right here. It's Valley Football on CISN.
Moms typically get to make a majority of the healthcare decisions for their family. That can be a lot of pressure, but not for me, because I know the choice is ours. For medical tests like MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, and of course mammograms, ask your doctor to refer you to Iowa Radiology. They work around our hectic schedules. They're the best at what they do, and they're so great with my family. They truly care, and it shows. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule an appointment. Iowa Radiology.
It was Adric Feidelson, the junior, who was the place kicker there. You have a depth chart of 3, 4, 5 guys who can kick extra points and trying to get them all in the game here for Valley, as Sam Ridgway will indeed kick it off. But 88 yards. Creighton Mitchell zigging and zagging his way all across the field, busting through the Yellowjacket defense, and he's got 2 TDs so far. Emery Songer, Keith Bornis, opportunity for TJ to get the ball back. They started moving the football, but fumbled it inside the red zone. And here is Owens again on the run, makes the catch at full speed from the kickoff, and he'll be tackled at the 29-yard line. But Keith, I mean, this has to be an ideal scenario, at least at this point from what you've seen.
Yes. Both running backs hitting on all cylinders. The quarterback play, 2 quarterbacks in the game, both playing very well. One of the things, when you have the depth at those skill positions that Valley does right now, you always wonder, is there internal fighting? Is there going to be issues there? But when those guys come off the field, the first person to meet them is usually the other running back, the other quarterback. And so pretty fortunate so far in how the shared time has been put into play here.
Down by 35 now in the shotgun. This still will be a handoff up the gut here for Green. Jermaine Green maybe gets one, and it'll be 2nd and 9. Got a sophomore quarterback, obviously a little bit of a limited playbook. Coaching staff still not real interested in trying to air it out, but we did at least see a little bit of progress from their offense last time.
And from what we're seeing right now, if they're going to move the ball down the field, they're going to have to air it out. But they also want to make sure that they don't have their defense back on the field quickly when you have incomplete passes.
Go with this little wishbone action. They're going to hand it to the first back through. He'll fall ahead to about the 31, a gain of 2. I mean, that's your old 3 yards in a cloud of dust style football.
Well,
handoff to Dylan Carmen.
They always talk about you get your 3 yards, your 30 will come. You get your 2 yards, your 20 will come. And that's certainly something that TJ has done this year. They do have explosive weapons. They just got to be able to get them set up and get the right timing down to get those guys open.
3rd, and we'll call it 7 from the 32-yard line. Wishbone look once again. Schubert drops straight back. Got a little bit more time, fires it. This one picked again. That free safety coming over the top. 2nd pick of the game for Drew Yrak. And Yrak for the 2nd time in the exact same situation on 3rd and long, just kind of launching it up there, trying to saying the Hail Mary prayer. And excellent job just reading the play and coming down with it and securing the catch and not trying to do anything crazy after he brings it down.
Absolutely. And over the beginning time of the year, Drew Yrak had 9 interceptions last year to lead the team and was one of the top interceptors in the state. Just kind of waiting to see how he's going to do. And he's played center field so well out here tonight. 2 interceptions. He's closing in on number 2 all time at Valley with the career interception mark.
Once again, starter Braden Ketcher still comes back into the game. This little throw to Jack Johnson on the far side. He's got himself 1st down yardage. A flag flies in late from the back judge. It was a gain of 13 as it was immediately, but we'll have to see what the officials say about the flag here. Could be a block down the field. Valley kind of walking it back already. And so legal block in the back, so it'll be a spot foul from there. It'll be 1st down once again, but it'll be 1st and maybe about 13 from where they marked the flag.
Yeah, that being a spot from the spot foul, it didn't hurt as bad. Naturally, you want to get closing in on those 1st downs, but, well, let's look at it. It's still 1st down.
It is 1st and just 13. If it was a hold, it would have been brought back for 1st and 20 with 9:38 to go and counting here in this first half. When we get to the second half, assuming that a 35-point margin or more is still there, the running clock will be in effect, but not here in the first half. Here's going to be a handoff once again, cutting it upfield. This is the 3rd back, and diving ahead for a gain of 9 is Jalen Crowell. That's the first time we've seen the senior get a handoff, and you can see even some explosiveness from him, a nice cut up the middle.
Well, Jalen Crowell is a pretty big back in his own right, and so when he can bring some heat and he can bring some power with it, and so those 2 things combined, sometimes creates a load to try and stop.
The fullback in front of them is Nate Wilcoxon. We haven't seen him touch the ball yet so far for Valley. 2nd and 4. This will be Crowell once again, and he's got first down yardage, a pickup of 6 to the 43-yard line, and it'll move the sticks once again here for the Tigers with 8:48 to go here in the first half, leading 35-0.
In a game like this, sometimes both teams just want to have the clock keep running. And so my guess is both teams are just going to keep the ball on the ground and grind it out.
I formation once again. Wilcoxon will get the first touch of the game for him. He breaks a couple of tackles. Look at him bear crawling across the turf for a gain of 9 to the 34-yard line.
Valley's own version of Tommy Rathman. And one of the things that we haven't seen a lot out of him this year, but he led the team in receiving last year out of that fullback position. And so people want to see Nate Wilcoxon have an opportunity to take over a game.
Play action. Wilcoxon wide open in the flat, right on cue. He's got it inside the 25, inside the 20. A couple of Yellowjackets will bring him down. And
nice job there by Braden Catcher.
Got a flag on that far side of the field.
That stops the clock. Nobody wants that. But Braden Catcher did a great job trying to sell the run, which he did, and then when that happens, it actually becomes a pretty high percentage play, getting that out into the flat to your fullback.
It was offside against Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson, so the play will stand down to the 17-yard line. Tackle was made by Damian Scott, had a little bit of help from Sam Shano, but it will be 1st and 10 inside the red zone here for Valley at the 17-yard line of the Yellowjackets. And the clock will restart. Wide receiver to each side, still that I formation, old school style football, a lot of downhill runs, and once again, Kroll up the gut, loses a tackler inside the 10. He's got another first down to the 5. That's as straight line as it gets, and you can see those strong legs continue to churn, following his lead blocker through the hole up the middle.
Absolutely, and when you talk about lead blockers, Logan Mueller took his guy all the way to the end zone. Logan Mueller's a big boy in his own right, and he was able to keep driving those legs. And that's part of the hole that opened up over there on the right side.
1st and goal here for Valley at the 5. It will be another handoff. Kroll up the gut, little stutter step. He's in, off of right guard, a 5-yard touchdown run. 3rd different running back to have a rushing touchdown in the game so far. And with 7:22 left in the second quarter, 41-0. The route continues here for the Tigers. Another opportunity for Adric Feidelson for the extra point. Catcher the holder, just to punctuate yet another drive. All rushes except for one pass play to the fullback, Wilcoxon, which was 20-plus yards on that play. Extra point good from Feidelson. It's 42-0. Valley all over Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. 7:22 to go. It's Valley football right here on CISN.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC.
42-0 Valley. What's the right word I'm looking for here, Keith? It's dominating to general.
Well, not really, but at the same time, a lot of people maybe expected this. And it's really boiling down to Valley taking the opportunity to finish plays. Valley's put up some points against some very top-ranked teams, but they haven't finished every play like they are tonight. And so credit Valley to just finishing those.
Return man Johans with it, and he'll be brought down at about the 22. They're giving the forward progress, but there's been one good drive, and there was a penalty that helped that drive stay alive with the roughing the passer for Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. They moved it all the way inside the 20-yard line, but Karan Owens, who was just fighting for extra yardage, and you can't fault him for that, but he did not protect the football. Valley punched it out, recovered it, and that immediately was followed by an 88-yard touchdown run by Creighton Mitchell. Other than that, the offense is sputtered. Outside of a roughing the punter call, there hasn't really been anything of note for the offense for the Yellowjackets. But here, again, they're just trying to execute as backups continue to come in the game, as there's going to be a timeout on the field here. And we'll just keep it here. But with the as Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson will get charged their first time out of the half. But for the most part here, there will be some backups that will leak into the game for Valley. And while Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson, I'm sure, would be very happy to just kind of see the game move along, try to keep as many guys healthy for next week as possible. At the same time, Keith, this is your opportunity to kind of experiment with things, maybe open it up just a little bit in the playbook. See what your guys can do. How much fight do you have in some of these guys? Because you can look up at that scoreboard and see 42-0, but a good coach and a team that fights is going to look at it's still 0-0, and I'm trying to win every play.
Absolutely. And regardless of who comes in, whether it's a starter or a backup on either sideline, one of the things that you think about from a coaching standpoint is, are my guys tired? Am I playing against fresh athletes? One of the things that Valley's defense has been able to do is rotate their defensive line. And so that's why Valley has been as good up front as they have been this year. They keep fresh guys in. And so for Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson, they can go ahead and open the playbook up, but they're going to be running against fresh guys.
There's a nice little counter play there. Johans hands it off to Green. Jermaine Green gains 8 to the 31-yard line, and that's the best executed offensive play that we've seen on the ground so far.
Absolutely, and it was created by very good individual effort. You credit each person across the board giving everything they've got. And Jermaine Green, he is a playmaker. He's a difference maker when it comes to getting this offense going. And so they're going to continue to keep him going, but they had too many people going on that particular play.
And unfortunately, they were going before the snap. That's a false start, mack them up 5 yards. 6.5 or so to play here in the first half, 42-0 Valley leading over Thomas Jefferson. But it's a play-by-play basis now. You want to put together a good drive, but you want to see each and every play. You can put that film on and be proud of the effort that your guys put in against a team that has, I mean, let's make no mistake, more talent on the field than they do, a lot more depth than they do, and they're not a top. Like, this is a state championship caliber team taking on a team that's trying to put it together with a young sophomore quarterback. In that wishbone look once again, Schubert looking to throw. His pass might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. Diving attempt made on that far side for an interception, but it'll drop harmlessly for an incompletion. On the coverage on that far side, Kadar Lewis.
You know, when you drop back, you're hoping to find one of your guys open. What you're not expecting to see is a team that has been playing as consistent defensively as Valley has. Everybody dropped into coverage so well, which actually surprised me a little bit when they're lined up in this tight set and trying to do all these things right up near the line of scrimmage.
Gain of 1 up the gut. Jermaine Green continues to receive carries, but that'll bring up a 4th down and another punting situation here for Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson.
You know, a lot of times when your penalties start coming out is when you have the transition in from your defense to your punt team or your offense to your punt team. I was watching that. Punt return came on, 4 guys in, 4 guys out.
Here's an opportunity for the punt, straight up in the air again with the danger of the block. Does get a little bit of a bounce here to the 40-yard line, but again, the pressure being felt. Carter Harold, the punter, I mean, he can feel it coming, and he's just trying to get rid of it, and the angle that is coming off of his foot while he's trying to avoid the block is basically straight up.
It has to. It's unfortunately, it's like my golf game. If there's a tree in my way, I got to try and go over it. And it doesn't always work very well.
Running out of time to hit the course, by the way.
Well, yeah.
I hit a lot of trees, too. Don't worry. Backup quarterback Peterson in once again. He's looking to throw and not getting out of his break that time. Here on the near side is Ryan New. Drew Peterson had a picture-perfect pass that was called back on a penalty. And you can tell his mobility is certainly, he likes to use his feet, kind of get himself set in that throw. He just wasn't lined up there with Ryan New that time.
Yeah, Peterson is more of a dual threat quarterback, but he hasn't taken nearly the snaps that he needs to really hone in on making those connections down the field.
New's going to get a little reverse. It's his first touch of the game. He's inside the 40 to the 35, dives down to about the 30. It'll be close to a first down, but the shiftiness of him as a wide receiver, and you can see that. A weapon that can be used as a possession wide receiver. You can get him out into space, and he can make some elusive moves like that, and they will give him the first down. But the first time that they've gone to him, Jack Johnson really has the only catch of note with that long 38-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah. Something else to talk about is the football team. They're a good bunch of guys in general, too. Two of them, Creighton Mitchell and Ryan New, were nominated to the homecoming court. And so they are candidates for King. The homecoming King and Queen will be announced at halftime tonight here.
Here is a little scramble to the left, throwing down the field, looking for New. Got a hand on it, but unable to reel it in. Some good effort there from New, but it looks like he's injured down by the goal line. It kind of landed awkwardly on his back there. And
in a situation like that, you hope that he just knocked the wind out of himself.
Immediately some medical staff there to tend to Ryan New. The play itself, you saw that mobility to the left. A lot of times a right-handed quarterback wants to roll to his right. Not true Peterson. That shows a little bit more maturity than you would think from a junior who has not gotten a lot of varsity snaps, that he's able to roll away from his throwing arm, then get his feet set, and then launch it down the field. And New, with some good coverage draped all over him, was able to get a hand on it but not bring it down. But, of course, the most important thing at this point is his health, as he landed a little bit awkwardly, and he's being tended to down by the goal line. We'll go ahead and step aside for a minute. We'll come back with more action. Valley leading 42-0 against Thomas Jefferson. 4:33 to play in the first half right here on CISN.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
The first snap after the injury timeout. Nate Wilcoxon running through the defense, dragging him inside the 10-yard line. Oh, man, that was a Mike Allstott level run from Nate Wilcoxon. We do want to update you, though. Ryan New did stand up and walked off on his own power, but was helped to the sideline. I would highly doubt that we'll see him later on in this game, but we're not even going to speculate on what was going on with him down there. But immediately after the injury timeout, what a run by Nate Wilcoxon. And now and got another stoppage on the field.
Waiting for the chain gang?
The referee on that far side is talking with a line official, and I don't see a flag on the field. And we see
Brad Rose heading across there to check into it. Maybe an injury to
it looks like
the
the official is feeling out his right leg, so that has created a stoppage.
All right, I'll go in. When needed. Well, actually, Josh Waymeyer's up here. If we need an extra official. He's got nothing going on tonight. We'll just put him in.
Find some stripes for him. It looks like he's all right on that far side of the field. And here's another snap. Handed to the big fella once again. Blasts up the gut. He's got a touchdown. Nate Wilcoxon, another fullback heavy drive there. Back-to-back runs. Looking very strong for Wilcoxon, and he's in from 10 yards out. And it's 48-0 Thomas Jefferson. And another opportunity for an extra point from Adric Feidelson.
Number 38, Will Fisher on to attempt the point out there for the Tigers out of the hold with number 11.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. The hold is down, the kick is on the way, and the kick is good. We'll go ahead and keep it here. It is homecoming. This is homecoming. This is an opportunity for everybody to kind of not only celebrate what is looking like a big victory on the football field, but as you mentioned, we don't even know who the king is and the queen is.
Well, that's right. We do have two young men off of the football team that were nominated into the homecoming court, that being Creighton Mitchell and Ryan New. But let's find out who the court is as the queen candidates. Emma Atchison, daughter of Travis and Brooke Atchison, up for queen, as is Dana Dunwald, daughter of Jeff and Melinda Dunwald. Grace Hinkle, some Valley faithful will certainly know that name, as she had two older brothers that played football for Valley. Preston and Kelly Hinkle are her parents. Grace Plummer, daughter of Craig and Joey Plummer, and Alexa Price, Nate and Kimberly Price's daughter. They are the queen candidates, and we'll update you on the rest of the king candidates here in just a little bit.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that right after the kickoff as Sam Ridgway lining it up to boot it away to the Yellowjackets with a 49-0 lead for the Tigers. What has become a very lopsided homecoming game. This one a low squibber. This hits off of an up back, and it's going to be fielded by Johans inside the 10, and he'll be pushed out of bounds, and then taken down out of bounds. No flag, though. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 13 as the offense comes on the field for the Yellowjackets.
You were certainly right when you said taken down out of bounds. If there were going to be a flag thrown, I don't know that many people would have grumbled.
I think the officials also kind of like seeing these guys finish their plays as long as it's nothing super malicious.
Mm-hmm.
As the offense, we'll see what we continue to see from Thomas Jefferson. A couple of turnovers, but have just really struggled to move the football outside of the one drive that they were able to work it inside the 20 before fumbling. And credit to the Valley defense for being able to force that turnover.
Jermaine Green was actually trying to conserve a little bit of energy as he walked into the offensive backfield there. He's had several carries, but not a lot of yards.
He's got another one here. He's going to break one tackle and continues to fight backwards. The ball squirts out again, and it's picked up by Valley once again. This one going to be inside the 15-yard line on the recovery. Now, I believe the recovery, Tyler Spears, is going to come out of there with it for the Valley Tigers. And once again, Valley with the football with 3:54 left looking for more, as that was the first time Jermaine Green fumbled it. And again, it was a hard effort. He was going for extra yards.
Absolutely.
Just popped out of his arms.
I am so impressed by him. His individual effort tonight is really phenomenal. He's pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward. He looked like a pinball at times as he was trying to get through that Valley defensive line. And at some point, you just run out of gas.
And that's when a lot of times you'll see those turnovers happen. Just don't have the strength to hang on to the football with a bunch of hands trying to knock that thing out.
Absolutely.
Going to move even further down the depth chart. Drew Dunwald is going to come in and play quarterback for the Tigers. He fumbles the snap. He'll pick it up. Will be hit. Will fall backwards to about the line of scrimmage. And when you get more and more backups in the game, you're going to see a little bit more miscues like this. But junior Drew Dunwald getting an opportunity here to see if he can't lead a short touchdown drive.
And we are very excited to see Drew Dunwald into the game. There isn't anybody who has improved as much as Drew Dunwald has over the course of the time from last year's sophomore season to this year's junior season. He has improved so much. He's getting an opportunity to play tonight. And he is actually the brother of Queen candidate Dana Dunwald.
Yeah, gain of 5 as a handoff to Jalen Crowell. And the flag got thrown in there right at the point of the tackle. Very well could be a hold. It could be a face mask. Not sure what it is. And it will be a hold against Valley, so they'll push it back 10 yards. But you could view this as an opportunity just to get more yards, Keith, on the stat sheet. If you're some of these guys that don't get an awful lot of touches during regular games, we got backup receivers in there as well. Some of the offensive line is going to continue to shift in and out. But with 3 minutes left in the first half, you're going to have that running clock going on. It'll be interesting to see how some of these guys who don't typically get reps are able to perform and try to, this might be one of the only opportunities they can play in front of their home fans.
Yes. And at the same time, when you have this situation come up, that's where more mistakes come in, because they want to do more than what they've been able to do in practice. They want to run harder. They want to block harder. They want to sustain their blocks longer. And sometimes that's when the penalty flags start to come out.
Tackle for loss, couple yard loss for Kroll. Good effort on the defense that time. R.J. Rankinson and Austin Renshaw among those in on the stop, as well as Adrian Silva.
And you look out there, Jermaine Green is right in the middle of it all as well. I'm not sure if he's come off the field yet.
3 wide receivers, 2 to the near side here on 3rd and what is about 17. The snap, Dunwald looking to throw. The lefty fires to the near side. That's a tough throw. Catch is made, and then out of bounds. Zane Johnson on the reception. That is going to be well short of a first down. It'll be 4th and 10. But that's a long throw to make on an out route there by a guy that you said there, Keith, he's had to make a lot of improvements over the last 12 months just to get himself on the field here.
Absolutely, and a great throw. He spun that thing very well. As a freshman, that may have been as far as he could have thrown the ball, and he'd have had to put a lot of air under it. He put some zip on that ball. He's really looking strong right now.
Sam Ridgway comes on. They're going to attempt a field goal here. It will be a 29-yard attempt. Snap, hold is good. The kick on the way, and it is perfect. Everything great there for the Valley Tiger field goal unit, and now with 1:58 left in this first half, 52-0, Valley the lead. While we have an opportunity, while the teams are getting the kicking units out there, how about we take a look at the other King candidates?
So the King candidates for tonight: Landon Denker, son of Scott and Lisa Denker; Sam Martin, son of Michelle and Scott Kilmer; Creighton Mitchell, as we made mention of earlier, son of Ira and Sherry Mitchell; Ryan New, son of Frank and Stacy New; and Jacob Jacob Soto, son of Jesus and Terry Soto. That makes up your entire homecoming court. And I'm going to tell you right now, Emery, I have seen a lot of homecoming courts here at Valley over the last 20-plus years. And when I look at this up and down the line, to me, it would have to be very tough to choose a homecoming king or queen out of this group. They are all phenomenal people. Okay. And athletic. It's a very athletic group. Every one of them is out for some type of either an athletic or some type of a activity that requires a lot of athletic movement.
Gotta love that, as they're going to get an offside on the kickoff here, which Eric Peniagua, is that correct? It's pretty close.
Yep, you're going to do it just as well as I would.
I practiced that one a few times, and still a little head scratcher there. 52-0 here, and we will find out who the king and queen are when we get to the half. Peniagua is going to kick it off this time from the 35-yard line with 1:58 to go. This time everything legal on the kick. Johan's got it at the 16. He's going to move it up the middle. Going to try to squirt past the 30, and he will, to about the 31-yard line, but before being taken down. The guy on the tackle, Clayton Adamson. So 1st and 10 again for the Yellowjacket offense. They've turned it over last couple of times they've had it. A couple of interceptions so far in the game by Drew Urach. And then a couple of fumbles forced and recovered by the Valley defense as well. In the huddle, Austin Schubert, the sophomore, continues to try to move his team with 1:51 left. They do have a couple timeouts if they want to use them. In the shotgun, he takes a snap, hands it to Jermaine Green. Green going to be wrangled at about the 30. A loss of 1 on the play, and you can see that defensive line, that defensive front continues to make life very difficult for the offensive line in the backs for the Yellowjackets.
Yeah, but Valley's offense is clicking very well, and what we talked about a little bit earlier, Valley's defense is always tougher, as most teams are. Your defense really thrives off a good offensive movement of the football. Valley's been moving the ball all over the place, 52-0. what Valley's defense wants to do now is preserve the shutout and keep them from getting first downs.
Javon Haynes was on the tackle there up the middle for the Tigers. He's coming up the middle again on the rush. This one caught by Johans. Makes the first guy miss, but he'll come back, make a big hit at the tackle. Logan Keller will get credit for that after a gain of 2.
Great job by the defensive backfield. Number one, reading their keys, staying into their zone area, and then coming up and making tackles for minimal gains.
Going to bring up a 3rd and 9 from their own 32. The clock continues to run inside of 40 seconds here in the first half. 52-0 Valley all over it here in this first half. We'll have the running clock starting in the second half, besides timeouts, injuries, penalties, etc. 3rd and 9 in the gun again is Schubert. He'll take the snap. He looks to throw. Puts his foot in the dirt. It's high for Owens, and Owens is hit and driven into the ground by Jake Castor, who was all over him on the play. And again, just trying to give your big 6'4" target an opportunity to come down with it, but a little bit too high for him to bring it down. Good coverage, like I said, by Castor, and with 16.5 seconds left, TJ's going to have to punt once again.
And strangely enough, 16.5.
Well, what we saw with some of these one-play drives.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they want to go for it, they absolutely could. We'll see what the punt looks like here. Coming from Carter Harold. A lot of high, short punts so far in this one. The snap back to him. He's got a little bit more room to operate. This is a low-line drive that'll bounce at midfield. It's going to be picked up, and the return made by Trajan Thornton. Thornton bounces to the outside. He's inside the 30. He's got a block. He's inside the 15, 10, 5. It's another touchdown.
With
a late
laundry.
flag. At the end of the play, as time expired, there is a flag right at the goal line. And if that is, of course, on Valley, that'll be the half, because there will be no on-time down after that. They don't need the points, but it would be a good highlight to put on the Trajan Thornton and the special teams unit highlight reel at the end of the season. But the way that was thrown at the end, you would think that it's probably going to be on the Tigers.
Yeah, I think they're going to call it a block in the back. I'm not 100% sure that it was.
And I don't think that block, and they're going to say that there was a block down there. The block that I saw was in front of the player, but, I don't have a million eyeballs.
No.
Those guys in stripes down there are a lot closer to the action.
And they are going to play one on-time down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Not used
Probably
to that high
because it was
rule.
a score.
Right, that's possible. Obviously, an opportunity here for the Tigers with one on-time down. And we'll see if they try to punch it in once again. And it looks like we have another QB. This time Casey Stalser, a senior, is going to come in for his first snap of the game. I saw him over here taking some snaps from his center before he went out onto the field. This is 1st and goal from the 14-yard line, the last play of the half, barring a defensive penalty. And the snap, it's going to be a handoff. Crowell, off right tackle. He'll be picked up and taken down at the 10, and that'll be the end of the first half. Well, it was about what we expected in terms of the 0 on the scoreboard for Thomas Jefferson and the Valley defense, but the offense extremely explosive for the Tigers, and it is 52-0 after one half of play. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have our halftime show. We'll let you know what we expect to see in the second half. Might even be able to tell you who the homecoming king and queen are by the end of halftime as well. It is Valley football right here on CISN.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
Hi, I'm Chris from Fireplace Superstore. Fall is upon us and fireplace season is here, and you need a new Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert. They're the perfect thing to make that old wood fireplace more beautiful, warmer, and easier to use. And right now, Heat and Glow is giving a $200 rebate, making it even easier for you to upgrade that old fireplace. Please come see them today. Fireplace Superstore, 109th and Douglas in Urbandale.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
We're back here at halftime. The halftime score, Valley dominating Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson by a score of 52-0. Before we get to some more of the football that we expect to see in the second half, we do have some special guests that we're going to get to here for another of the fall sports at Valley High School. We'll talk volleyball, and we're being joined by Olivia Lombardi, the libero of the team. I think people will very well recognize that Lombardi last name. But before we talk about volleyball, what has been kind of your homecoming week like here and getting ready for tonight's football game?
Well, first for school we've had like all these dress outs and stuff, so we've been like dressing out at school and stuff, which is so fun. And then getting ready for this football game, just like being here and being a part of the school is so much fun. So just getting ready at friends' house and stuff.
Okay, so as the libero, for anybody who does know, free substitution, you're a defensive player. You're currently, what I've been told to this point, you're leading the team in digs, and that's obviously important for a libero to do. But can you talk a little bit about your season to this point, your volleyball career, and some of the stuff that our other guests that we have here, Hayden Kubik, she's been somebody that you've been able to play not just here at Valley and not just in Iowa, but even on a bigger stage.
Yeah. It's just a blessing, like being on this team and being a part of this team as a freshman. Like that's just a huge deal, and like my whole life has just been like being a part of a team and being the best as I can be. And this team like really helps me to be me and be the best I can be. And playing with Hayden has been like so much fun. I've been with her since I was 12 years old, so it makes it a little bit easier to be on a team with some people and just like being able to connect with people easier with her and like my sister on the team.
Okay, so how has Valley season gone so far for those who might not have been able to come to a whole lot of games? How have you guys been playing so far?
Yeah, we've been doing pretty well. We haven't lost a conference game yet. Our tournaments, we've done pretty well in most of them. We've won 2 tournaments, winning the Southeast Polk tournament and then another tournament at somewhere else. Waukee tournament. We won the Waukee tournament, and that was a huge deal because there's always such good teams there and such good competition. So it's just awesome being able to play and like win as many games as we can, because we obviously want to win a state title and be like the best we can be as a high school team.
Okay, so not only high school team, we'll talk to Hayden in a little bit as well. She's been highly recruited to this point, and we'll talk about things from her perspective. But what kind of national stuff have you guys been able to do? Because people forget that when you're really dedicated to a high school sport like this, it's not just, for the 2-3 months that you're playing during the high school season. You guys are doing it a lot of the year. Take me through kind of what a normal year is like for you and what team you play for.
Okay, so like for club season, club runs from December up until June if you make it till nationals. So volleyball is a pretty like committed for life sport. So for club, we start in December, and you do just like a ton of tournaments, practicing 3 times a week. For our club team, we practice 3 times a week for 2 hours every day for those 3 weeks, 3 times a week. So it's a lot of work. It's tiring, but you push through, and you have a lot of friends and people that are there to support you and help you through, like getting through and staying focused and being like the best team that we can be.
Well, that's something that we're going to continue to keep an eye on. When's the next time you guys are going to be in action here at home?
At home, I think our next home game is next Tuesday, I think. So not this Tuesday, the following Tuesday.
Awesome. So people keep an eye on that. You can check out quickstatsiowa.com. Check out the stats and everything else as well. Olivia Lombardi, we appreciate you for joining us. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with her teammate Hayden Kubik right after this. It is Valley Football on CISN.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
We're back here live, 52-0. It is Valley dominating on their homecoming game against Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. We're going to continue to talk volleyball here for a moment as I'm currently being joined by outside hitter Hayden Kubik. And Hayden, first of all, congratulations on the excellent start to the season to this point.
Thank you.
You're a sophomore. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes,
Okay.
sophomore.
So I did see PrepDigs.com. You're the #1 Iowa recruit for this particular class that you're a part of. Take me through kind of your career in volleyball to this point and kind of how that recruiting process is going so far, even though you're still so young in high school.
It's just like when you start playing volleyball, like I've played volleyball since I was a little kid. I mean, I've grown up with it, and just like playing with a team, it's just like it's so fun, and you get to experience things you've never felt before, and it takes your mind off of things, and just playing for the love of the game. It's crazy how much fun a sport can be, and I found the love of this game like so early in my life, and I'll do it for the rest of my life.
Well, that's awesome to hear because you're also really good at it. As an attacking player, putting some points away for this Valley squad, and it runs in the family as well. Your sister, as I understand, is playing for a national powerhouse in Nebraska. She's a freshman starter, 2-time Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year on the volleyball side of things. What have you learned from her, and kind of has that been easier or harder knowing that you're having to follow in the footsteps of somebody who has really paved the way and gotten a lot of attention, not just in Iowa, but on a national scale in volleyball?
Yeah, it's just seeing my sister out there playing for Nebraska. I mean, it's so inspiring. Like, just to see my sister doing big things, it's really inspiring. Like, it just makes me want to push myself even harder, and it's amazing what my sister is doing, and I'm so proud of her, and I hope to be like her one day. It's a blessing that I get to be a part of that family.
And it's kind of a good measuring stick to kind of shoot at for yourself as well, you know, trying to at least accomplish what she's been able to accomplish. And we see a lot of siblings, including the Lombardi family, where the younger siblings trying to always do a little bit better than the last one. So for you this season, what are some of the goals that you have, not only for this year, but for the rest of your career? I know that's a lot to ask because you got another half of a season this year, and then you have 2 more full seasons at Valley High School. But what are you trying to accomplish this year and beyond?
This year, I feel like our whole team is really planning on winning a state title and just taking it step by step, game by game. And then further in life, college, playing at the highest level I can, and then Olympics maybe someday. I mean, I don't know.
Hey,
but
you know, if you can play at Nebraska and start as a freshman, that's a pretty good start. You know, your sister's on the right track. I'm sure that you can follow that as well. How can people, what do you want people to know about the team, and why should they come check out the next Valley Tigers home game?
Valley, it's undescribable. I mean, the crowd, the parents, the supporters, we have everything. It's such a blessing that we get to be surrounded by all these people, and just playing for this team, it gives you such a good vibe and energy. It's volleyball at Valley is so great.
Well, it's something that we'll continue to keep an eye on. You guys obviously have a strong group this year with yourself, Olivia Lombardi, among those young players that are part of the squad. We appreciate you for joining us. Congrats.
Yes, thank you.
Kubik. We, of course, going to hear a lot about her in the future as well. We'll take another break. Valley leading big, 52-0 over Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson during their homecoming game. We'll have more on the halftime show after this. Right here, it's football on CISN.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
Hi, I'm Chris from Fireplace Superstore. Fall is upon us and fireplace season is here, and you need a new Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert. They're the perfect thing to make that old wood fireplace more beautiful, warmer, and easier to use. And right now, Heat and Glow is giving a $200 rebate, making it even easier for you to upgrade that old fireplace. Please come see them today. Fireplace Superstore, 109th and Douglas in Urbandale.
We're back here live. It's the halftime show. Valley 52-0. Council Bluffs, Thomas Jefferson. We're going to have the homecoming court be introduced here. The great halftime show as well from the marching band.
Phenomenal halftime show. March Masters under the direction of Josh Waymeyer, and the drum majors did a phenomenal job taking that out. Gwyn Chilcote, Anna Borisenko, Nate Bell, phenomenal job with the halftime show. The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I know. I saw the Cowardly Lion walking around out there, and I was able to piece that one together. But that's what's fun about high school football specifically, and even college football. I know that we had a little bit of a snafu with some marching bands the last couple of weeks with Iowa and Iowa State, but it adds a ton to the atmosphere. And not only that, you have fellow students participating in that activity, and this is an opportunity for them to showcase their skills as well. What did you see in the first half that, obviously at 52-0, there's a lot that you like, but what specifically do you like the best?
What I liked the best was, if we go back to what the keys of the game were, and that is the third one, finishing plays. Valley has finished plays better tonight than they have all year. And when you talk about finishing the plays, you alluded to it just a little bit. Sometimes people walk into the end zone because there's nothing there. Guys were running into the end zone. A couple of times, Creighton Mitchell, nobody around. Jaden Williams, nobody around. But they ran all the way through the line, finishing plays. And that is something that needed to happen. It is happening tonight. I think that's what I'm happiest to see.
While you could probably pick out dozens of things that you liked, there probably are not very many that you didn't like, but what would be one thing that you would like to see, maybe not in the second half, but just moving forward this season, kind of shored up and tightened up?
We've got to clean up the penalties. There's way too many penalties out there. Trajan Thornton will be the first one to tell you, clean up the penalties. I had a touchdown. Coaches don't look at that as though, okay, we had a 10-yard holding penalty. We had a 10-yard block in the back penalty. That was not a 10-yard block in the back penalty. That was a 7-point, 25-yard block in the back penalty. And so cleaning those things up, especially when you get to the point where you are focusing in on playoffs and wanting to make a run for something, you don't want those penalties to hold you back.
We still have a few minutes left in halftime. The homecoming court being currently announced, field level, as you're able to see there on our live stream here on CISN. We continue to see what's going on here. I think for the most part, Keith, when you talk about pageantry, this week, super special, able to talk to Olivia Lombardi and Hayden Kubik and kind of what has been, what it's meant for them to, with this specific week. And it's really a week-long experience, but it's an honor for these young folks who have an opportunity to get recognized in front of all of the student body and all of the Valley fans and parents to, see them, because you know who votes on this stuff? It's the kids in the school.
It is.
So it is really an opportunity and for them to kind of be celebrated for just being good human beings for their 4 years at Harrow Valley.
And so this week is going to end tomorrow night with the homecoming dance. A lot of people say homecoming is about the football game and who's going to be king and queen. But it's been a week-long celebration, and Olivia Lombardi will be the first one to tell you, it's not necessarily the easiest week. They played in a powder puff game Monday night. Tuesday, Olivia shows up back at school, and it wasn't just a nice little friendly game of two-hand touch. It was supposed to be flag football, but she came back, 2 black eyes and a cheek puffed out to Omaha. And so, yes, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of fun, the carnival, the parade, all those things. Valley really does a great job putting on a homecoming week. And so when you look out here tonight, what other people didn't see earlier today, the pep assembly at Valley High School, phenomenal pep assembly. And I got to tell you, there was a surprise that happened there today. In the class versus class tug of war, the freshmen came out in the first round and they upset the sophomore class in the tug of war. And then the seniors came out and they beat the juniors like everybody expected. So then it became the seniors versus the freshmen, and the freshmen won.
I don't believe that.
I know. It sounds far-fetched. I wouldn't have believed it myself had I not seen it.
That doesn't make any sense.
But the freshmen, a couple of guys that really stood out, Kyrell Fountain, he kind of dug his heels in and did some pulling there for the freshmen.
Hey, if you're looking to the future of Valley football, that's a good way to do it. You check out some of those freshmen and what they're able to do with the tug of war there against some of these big-bodied seniors that we're seeing out here as well. That is, we didn't have tug of war. I'm originally from Ottumwa, so I'm an Iowa guy too. But we didn't have a tug of war. We had pep assemblies and all that stuff, but now it's making me think like how competitive that may have gotten.
Oh my gosh, yes.
If you had that going on.
And you take a look at a couple of faculty members, Principal David Maxwell and Greg Hudson, social studies teacher. They put on a spectacular rock and roll concert for the students. And partway through, I wasn't sure how it was going to end, but it ended up being a mosh pit right in the middle of the gym floor with the faculty. The entire student body seemingly was down on the floor. It lasted for about 35 seconds, and then everybody just returned to their seats. Finished out the pep assembly. It was a fantastic deal, but it was led by Greg Hudson, who is a great teacher, a great singer as well.
That's awesome.
And, so everybody was involved.
Makes me wish I worked at a school so I could be a part of some of that party. That sounds like a good time. It's been a good time here on the football field, 52-0. Valley leading at the half. We'll have the running clock throughout unless something crazy happens and Thomas Jefferson able to put together some scores. But we have our final candidate being introduced here on the field, which means we are just moments away from learning who the king and queen are. I believe we're going to stay here for to see exactly what happens here. But, again, all of these great kids on both sides, the king and the queen, getting what the activities they're in, what they've accomplished so far, announced to this entire crowd. And while it's great to be the king or the queen, I think there's a lot of value in just being a part of the court and having this kind of way to celebrate these guys and what they've accomplished.
When you take a look at this court, you have to think, wow, just to be nominated to be standing next to the other people, that is a phenomenal feat. So, Haley Losh, last year's queen.
Yep.
Sam Martin just announced as the homecoming king. Sam Martin is a crowd favorite. He is a young man that works extremely hard. both academically and also on the athletic field. He's been a part of some great track seasons that Coach Tom Trigstead has put together, and now we find that Dana Dunwald has just been announced the homecoming queen, and so king and queen, great people, but as are all of the people down there.
We'll go ahead and we'll step aside. We'll continue to talk about that in the second half of football coming your way in moments. It's 52-0 Valley right here on CISN.
Thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP. Or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off. Or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months. Or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy, Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Valley leading 52-0 over Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. This is the first game in Class 4A District 7, a matchup that we figured Valley was going to be a big favorite, but they have proven that to be the case here with a very explosive half, both offensively, defensively, and in the special teams game. Big congratulations to our homecoming king and queen who,
Sam Martin, Dana Dunwald, two amazing young people that are sure to be great successes in their careers.
My name's Emery Songer. I'm with Keith Bornis, as you've probably figured out by now. Opportunity here for us in the second half to yes, we will have a running clock, but we're going to see a lot of different kids get into the ball game, specifically for Valley, and we're going to see an awful lot of guys trying to prove that they belong. Obviously, you have a huge team, a deep team for West Des Moines Valley, but if something were to happen, you never know. This is one of the things here that high school football, you can never have too many guys ready, and that's an opportunity for them to prove that they are ready.
Absolutely. It really is a battle every day in practice because you certainly don't want injuries, and you talk about the speed and the tempo of practice and where contact is going to be and how much contact you're going to have along the week. But when there is contact, it is a battle to see who is going to stay in that starting spot because everybody wants it.
We've already seen 4 quarterbacks taking snaps so far here in the first half for Valley. It'll be interesting to see who kind of do you want a little bit more from Drew Peterson? You want to get some of those 3rd and 4th guys an opportunity to get on the field here for the homecoming crowd. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Gary Swinson and the rest of his staff decide to handle it. Obviously, at the same time, you want your guys to execute. You mentioned it. You want to still finish all those plays. It's going to fly by. You got 24 minutes of game time left. If it's the running clock the entire time like we would assume it's going to be, it's going to be a blur how fast that's going to go by. But at the same time here, for Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson, they too are looking for some guys. Who's going to quit out there? If anybody's going to quit, it's going to be tough for them to see the field the rest of the season because there are winnable games for TJ later on this year. It's going to be a matter of going out there, forgetting what the scoreboard says, and battling to win every play. Mm-hmm. And while that might be very tough to do, the effort is still noticeable on the film, and the coaches see who's giving it everything they got every play out there.
Now, here's something from a coaching standpoint that we're going to want to see, and that is the guys who have been out there in the starting role, if they're not back in the game, you want to see where they are in the sideline. Are they guys that are just sitting back, or are they a part up here standing on that white line, as everybody has been all night, cheering on their teammates and trying to create a lot more depth in your scoring possibilities?
The short kick, a little bit of reversal of field, trying to bust this one loose. Tackle will be made at the 43-yard line by Devin Bovey, and I believe that's Carson Shelton who picked up the ball and returned it.
Carson Shelton on a pretty nice return there. Now, you start to bring up some names here. Devin Bovey, one of the freshmen that is in this defensive backfield for TJ. They got a lot of young guys.
A lot of young guys.
And I still see a lot of fight. When you're a freshman being thrown into a varsity competition, it doesn't matter how good you are. There's a lot of maturing that takes place in the first 15 minutes of the game, and then it just continues to build from there.
The right guard, a little bit late arriving. That's Kobe Lunstra. And we'll have another stoppage here.
Well, that 40-second clock.
Yeah, it runs as soon as they spot the ball, so that's going to be a delay of game. And already without a play being run, a minute is off the clock, if you can believe that. It's going to go fast.
The first half took an hour and 10 minutes.
This will not take that long.
Not so much.
Peterson is in at quarterback. He's going to hand it off to the deep back, Jalen Crowell. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 43-yard line. So that's the answer to our first question, that Drew Peterson will get a little bit more reps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't anticipate, as far as the skill positions out there, to see any of the starters in there for a couple of reasons. You want to make sure that everybody stays healthy. The guys that are coming in now, they're focused. This is their opportunity to do things, and so the focus is definitely going to be there.
Crowell busts it for 12 across midfield to the 45-yard line on that far side hash. Peterson just handing it off to Crowell so far, and the backup offensive lineman, because the second unit is out there. Mm-hmm. They are still a fairly experienced group, 3 seniors, a couple of juniors, and they're big boys too.
They are some big boys, and the thing about it is they go against the same defensive front as the starters do every day in practice. So as far as getting the repetitions and understanding the footwork and where you're going to go, coaching's the same.
There's a play action on the run to the left, looking down the field, throwing over the middle, and it is caught inside the 30. Wide open spaces inside the 10, and it's going to be a touchdown for Quinn Emerson-Claire, the junior tight end, and a touchdown pass fired by Drew Peterson. And again, Keith, he's rolling the opposite way. He's got to set his feet, pull his shoulders back. We see Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. He's excellent at that, just making sure that he's squared up for a throw, accurate, in stride, and the big tight end did the rest.
And a fantastic play. But it's also set up because Drew Peterson is able to extend the play with his feet. A lot of quarterbacks, and there's also some protection up front.
Yep.
But he's able to extend it. He ran 25 yards before he threw the ball 25 yards, and then Emerson-Claire finishing off with the extra 35 yards.
Adric Feidelson gets the extra point. It is 59-0, and 9.5 to go in the third quarter. It'll be Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson to receive. We'll take a quick break when we come back with more right here on CISN.
Central Bank is proud to support the unmatched spirit of sportsmanship and hard work exemplified by our local athletes. We're fans of high school sports and the way the big game and hometown team rally a community. Best of luck to all of today's competitors. Play hard, have fun, and make something great happen. Central Bank, member FDIC.
Lennox Krell teeing it up from the 40. I think he's the 5th different kicker that we've seen for Valley so far, either on kickoffs or extra points. Valley a 59-0 lead over Thomas Jefferson, who will receive the kick. They have only gotten across midfield one time. That was between the end of the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter, but then fumbled before they scored any points. Haven't gotten close to midfield since. Deep kick. This one's going to be received at the 10-yard line for the Yellowjackets. Moving it up is Karan Owens. He's got about a 16-yard return to the 26. That'll be where the Jackets take over.
You have to look at him and say, if this guy even gets an inch to exploit, he's explosive. He's got good speed.
He's big.
Yes. How can people that big move that fast?
That's a good question. I wish I could answer that for you, but I am neither of those things.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you wish you could be one of them. He's both of them.
He is both of them. 6'4", 175 for a quick and explosive wideout. Karan Owens for the Jackets. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the far side for them, an H-back and a single back. It's Green alongside the quarterback, Schubert. He's going to fake the handoff. He's going to try to run it to the right side, but I think that was a broken play. The snap was high. It felt like the line didn't get off all at the same time, and he ended up losing a couple yards.
But, he really handled it well, being a sophomore, and under that kind of pressure, a lot of times quarterbacks, the ball goes that direction from right from the center. You automatically think, it's going that way, I got to continue that way. And he had a little bit of wherewithal to kind of get his composure and start heading back toward the line of scrimmage.
Drew Larrick among those in on the stop. Pretty much every tackle that Valley is making is being made by 2, 3, 4 guys, and that's why they're able to get a couple of fumbles here. Everybody's rallying to the football. On 2nd and 12 from their own 25-yard line, wishbone look. It's going to be a pitch. Green looking for a little bit of space. There's not a whole lot there, and he's going to lose another yard.
And, part of this, TJ's offense is tired because they also play defense.
The linemen specifically.
Yes, and so when you have your starting group out there, they have played hard all night. The individual efforts that have come out, again, I cannot say enough about Jermaine Green and how physical he is. And across the line, all those guys are fresh. They are athletic and fresh.
3rd and 13 from their own 24, another wishbone look. Now they're going to look and get a signal. 5 seconds on the play clock. Schubert under center. All right in the middle of the field. He'll take the snap, drops back, looks to throw. He's under pressure, rolls to the right, flag down. Looks like it might be a holding call. This one's going to be caught by Owens, and the ball will be short of the first down by about 4 yards. It appears the spot about the 33-yard line needed the 37, but it'll be a hold against Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. Sure, that will likely be declined.
Well, sometimes you have to think about it and say, well, what do they have to lose by going for it on 4th and short?
Maybe
here?
you push them back, yeah.
Push them back and say if they're going to go for it anyway, they got to
put together a couple of plays.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I understand that sentiment, and they will indeed accept the penalty. So Gary Swinson thinking right along with you, Keith. That'll push it back to the 10-yard line, and it'll be 3rd and approximately 27. 7 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. The running clock still in effect, 59-0 Valley. Dominant here. They'll break out with a couple of wide receivers to either side. Green is going to go into the slot on that far side as well. They're going to empty it out with 2 H-backs. Schubert takes the snap, 4-man rush. He's going to fire it over the middle. It's high and well over the head of everybody. The intended target, the only guy on that side of the field, was Hunter Jones, but that'll bring up a 4th down and a punting situation here for the Yellowjackets. Again, just a lot of those pass plays when they need a lot of chunk yardage. They had a couple of good throws on deep ends to Karan Owens, but besides that, Keith, it really has just been, I'm going to throw this in the air and just pray that something good happens.
That's right. Throw it to where the defense at least can't make a play on it. And
he's a sophomore. We got to keep in mind, and he's not getting a ton of protection against a very good defensive front. For the most part, if you're Austin Schubert, this is a learning experience of try to make a read but not commit turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Another poor punt. This one is going to be straight up and down, but get a good TJ bounce across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. So that'll be where Valley will take over with the clock continuing to roll here.
It is time for my first shout-out of the night.
Go for it, my friend.
I am going to get a shout-out to Coach Benz, the freshman volleyball coach at Valley. She is supposedly watching on the big screen tonight. So shout-out to her and congratulating her on a wonderful job. She does such a great job with the volleyball program. And we wish them the very best of luck as the season continues on.
We talked to a couple of volleyball players in this Valley program, Olivia Lombardi and Hayden Kubik. In the halftime show, you can tell they're very happy and excited and thrilled to be a part of the program. 3 wide receivers. We have another quarterback entering the game. It's going to be a handoff to Crowell. He's going to try to get around one guy, gets down to the sideline, racing for the end zone, and he'll blast through a 23-yard touchdown run. And once again, Valley, a one-play drive off left tackle, and
let me ask you a question on that.
Okay.
Did it look like he finished the play?
Oh, yeah. He ran over a guy to get into the end zone. He absolutely finished the play.
That is something that the coaching staff is going to highlight and talk about, finish plays.
Just going outside tackles. A lot of success for Valley doing that so far here in the run game. Extra point on the way. Fridelson puts another one through. 4:44 to go, 66-0. Valley making it look easy here on CISN.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Celebrating homecoming in pretty dominant fashion. West Des Moines Valley, a 66-0 lead over Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. They'll be kicking off after yet another touchdown. We crowned some homecoming royalty. We talked about some volleyball. We had a fun week. And when I was at Atumwa High School about 10, 15 years ago, the Bulldogs would routinely have a team like Des Moines North come play at Schaefer Stadium in Atumwa, and we had a lot of blowout wins. It was always fun to cap off a week with a win like this, and I'm sure that is exactly the sentiment for those students that have still hung around here for the second half of this one.
Yes, the fans are still involved, which is great. Even the March Masters, a phenomenal marching band.
One of the best.
And, they have band parents that are still sticking around even after halftime to continue to support the football team. We're going to be coming up here pretty soon to a little thing called Valley Fest.
I love Valley Fest.
So
I was a band kid back in the day as well. Valley Fest was the show. If you could be a part of that, as Joe Hans gets a catch and the screen pass goes about 4 yards before being hit hard. One of the guys in on the play, Jack Yenser. But Valley Fest, you can get some out-of-state high schools that make the trip. It is, as far as I'm concerned, the premier high school band competition that you can witness, and we always have a full house here for what is an all-day event at Valley Stadium.
Yeah, and if you talk to the March Masters, it's an all-day, all-night event because it's actually a two-night, all-day event because they start seemingly at midnight the night before, getting everything set up because it follows a game. Valley will be playing here or Dowling will be playing here the night before.
5-yard penalty on a false start for the Jackets. 3:21 left in the third quarter. Running clock in effect, of course, with the 66-0 lead for Valley to this point. Valley Fest, do you know the date on that one?
I don't have the date.
It's got to be a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's always seemingly a mid-October thing.
Yeah, so, but, of course, premier event here at Valley Stadium in West Des Moines. 3 wide receivers, an H-back and a back. The back is Jermaine Green. Schubert in the gun once again. He takes the snap, looking to throw, fires it deep. Owens had his man beat at the line of scrimmage, but again, that ball well overthrown. And these are going to be kind of the plays that everything was executed properly on the line. Your wide receiver beat his man off the line of scrimmage, had about 2 yards of separation, and if the ball was delivered in a spot where he can at least make a catch, you never know. He might be able to go to the house.
That's right. He had a few steps on him, and as a quarterback, a lot of times you make that throw, and as it leaves, the first thing in your mind is, oh, I want that one back.
Should have put a little bit more air into that one, yeah. But this young sophomore is going to continue to work on that as time moves on. And they're going to call a timeout here as the play clock was about to hit 0. And the Jackets will talk it over. So recap real quick, if anybody missed it, our homecoming king and queen.
Our homecoming queen, Miss Dana Dunwald. Phenomenal young lady. She is involved in many things. I remember having a conversation one time with her, and she said, I saw her on a Friday in the spring as they were getting ready to do some, I think it was dance marathon that they hold in the spring. And so I asked her, how are you? And she goes, oh, I'm tired. And I could honestly look at her and say, the best usually are. You know, and she puts in a lot of time at Valley High School. She puts in a lot of time with her family, her friends. I don't know how she gets it balanced. So she is our homecoming queen. King is Sam Martin. Great young man who treats everybody as though you are my best friend. And because of that, people always respond to him. Every effort he gives is his best effort. So congratulations to the king and queen, Sam and Dana.
Night that I'll always remember for sure. And
Absolutely.
I think the whole court would probably agree with that as well. 2:10 left. We're back out of the timeout. It's going to be Wishbone on 3rd and 11 here for the Yellowjackets. Fullback, couple of tight ends, couple of wingbacks. It'll be Green. He's going to be looking to throw. Fires it down the field, but again overthrows his man in good coverage. Not falling for it was Ethan Saskowski. He was right alongside the intended target, Hunter Jones, step for step all the way. And to ask Jermaine Green to make an accurate throw is asking an awful lot with that kind of coverage. So it'll be another 4th and 11, and we would imagine a punt situation here for the Yellowjackets.
I don't think they want to punt, but at the same time, 4th and 11, this deep in your own territory, it's the smart play. Because you can honestly say, there's plenty of game left. 13 minutes left.
Looks like we're going to have a different punter here, and is that Jermaine Green back there?
It sure looks like it.
And that is a high snap. It's going to be he's going to grab it at the 2-yard line. He's going to try to run. He's going to cross the 20 to the 25, and he's just going to bury into a man. He won't get the first down, but you can tell Jermaine Green, when he gets a head of steam like that, look out.
Look out. And Nate Lasher, who came up and made the tackle there, that's one of those plays where you are going. I think what we just saw there was the true definition of courage. Being afraid, but going anyway.
I don't know if I would have done that. I would have maybe made a business decision there. Looking at a 220-pound back who had 20 yards of head start on me.
Wow.
And if you're looking at Nate Lasher and what we have here, he's 5'11", 150. So he's given up about 70 pounds and a lot of momentum.
That's right. I'm going to tell you right now, if we had to vote on a play of the game, Nate Lasher just won it.
You wouldn't have thought that with a 66-0 score, but I would agree with you. I mean, that's they're going to look on the film like, wow, man, that was tough. Handoff up the gut. Jaden Thomas, the senior, backup fullback, got the handoff, gained a couple, and that'll wrap up our third quarter. 66-0 our score. Valley in control, and we have one more quarter of action to play. We'll go ahead and take a break, come back with it. It's Valley football right here on CISN.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
Fourth quarter about to begin, 66-0. Valley the lead. They have the football, 2nd and 9 from their 30-yard line of the Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson Yellowjackets. Going to be a handoff. Kroll to the far side. Not a lot doing there. Maybe a pickup of one. Good tackle in pursuit that time by Robbie Brecht along the defensive line rather. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 8. Quarterback, by the way, in the game is Casey Stalzer, the senior. fourth stringer who had a little bit of an opportunity. Running clock will continue to run here. Scoring plays, penalties, and timeouts will be the only time that we'll have the clock stop for the rest of the game.
Shout out time.
Go for it.
I don't know if you're aware of this. Some people, if you've watched all season, you know I do have fans. I have 2 fans, Doug and Sue Buchanan.
Almost picked off there by Owens. Went through his hands.
Some people that have loved the West Des Moines community for many, many years, and it just wouldn't be right to not acknowledge them on homecoming week.
Both of them? Yep.
Both of them, Doug and Sue Buchanan. And I'm going to give another shout-out real quick to Coach Dave Davis, who is home tonight. He had some eyesight improvement this week, and now he's home tonight watching the grandchild.
Welcome to any and all. I hope to be a good adopted son of the Valley community after tonight. I'm learning the names, folks. I'm learning them. On 4th and 9, they're going to go for it here, and the ball is going to be juggled and dropped. The intended target was Drew Dunwald, one of the other backup quarterbacks, and that'll be it for the drive, and it'll be turned over on downs for CBTJ, one of the few unsuccessful drives we've seen for Valley so far. In fact, that might be the first time that they didn't score while having the football. But it leaves a long field for the Yellowjackets from their own 29-yard line. I can tell you from an outsider's perspective, somebody who went to a Class 4A school in Ottumwa, even back in those days when Valley was on the schedule, it was a big deal. When Valley would either come to our stadium or we played against Valley, and to see the consistent success that this school has been able to put together over the years, I mean, you couldn't possibly ask for anything better. And for once again, for this, as it looks like a timeout again here taken by TJ, you couldn't ask for Gary Swinson to have a better group of guys here. And there's no Lombardi at quarterback, but the way they've played the first 5 weeks of the season here, you have every chance to believe this is a team that could win the whole thing.
I am reminded back, and only some real Valley faithful are going to be able to remember this name, but a young man by the name of Jason Kroll. Jason Kroll was a backup quarterback and worked hard and did not take over the reins until he was a senior. He took him to the Dome. So anything's possible, especially when you got a couple of guys.
It's been done before, is what you're saying.
It has. It's a tight-knit group. The 39 seniors introduced today at the pep assembly, and all of them in the weight room, working hard in the off season. They want it as a group of seniors. Last year into this year, they're 14-1. It's a pretty good go.
Referee going to he called one of the DBs to the sideline for Valley. You're going to get another sub in there.
Well, he had something coming out of his helmet, and that's a no-no, high school football, and so it was not the proper uniform, and so he was escorted to the sideline.
Something I'm sure that the coaching staff will take a quick look at, see if they can't get him back out there in quick order.
I think we're going to be in for a treat here.
He's right back out there, by the way. His name, Destin Payne.
Yep.
Another senior.
So you're going to have an opportunity to possibly talk to our homecoming queen.
Ooh, a celebrity. Dana Dunwald.
She certainly is a celebrity, as one of my all-time favorite people. So we'll see if we can get her on here in just a second.
Yeah, for sure. 8:50 to go. The running clock at 2nd and 3 after the gain on that previous play. Run here for Schubert. He's going to lose a couple. And we're going to have Dana Dunwald here on a moment. Keith setting her up here. She's got to lose the tiara. And Dana, welcome into the broadcast here. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really cool to be up here.
It's 3rd and 4, by the way. We'll keep an eye on the game as well. But Dana, what's this week been like for you? Can you kind of lay out kind of what all the days were and when you found out that you were part of the homecoming court and the process all week for you?
Yeah, so we actually found out, I think it was last week or the week before. And then ever since then, it's just been planning to get ready for the assembly and then also a lot of the fun things. So on Monday night, we had a powder puff game, and my senior class actually won, which was super fun. It was a good way to start the week. Tuesday, there was a volleyball game. Thursday was the parade and carnival. And then today, we had the assembly where we did a group dance and then walked across the floor with our parents.
Awesome. And then you, as well as the homecoming king as well, being at halftime. You know, sometimes schools do it a day before. You guys do it during halftime with the entire crowd here. So I'm sure that was a fun moment for you. After a big loss, by the way, for Green, it's going to be 4th down in a punt situation. Green is back to punt here for Thomas Jefferson with 7.5 and counting left here. This snap is low. He digs it out. He will punt it away. This is a much better punt over the return man, and it will bounce inside the 35 down to the 30. Owens will down at about the 29. Here with Dana Dunwald. She is the homecoming queen for Valley here in 2019. So I am also to believe that you are pretty active in extracurricular activities yourself. So for those who don't know, kind of what are some of the things that you do throughout the school year?
So yeah, I really like to stay busy. I am involved in volleyball and tennis, and then also FCA, DECA, National Honor Society. I'm the Secretary of Communications and Student Council, and then just work with our equity team and a bunch of other groups at Valley as well.
So do you have like a time that you don't have a lot going on?
Usually no. I like to keep busy, so it's usually go all the time.
That's awesome. Do you have plans for college?
My goal right now is to attend a four-year university. I'm still undecided, and then I think I want to study pre-law or political science.
Cool. And you got a lot of experience already building up for that as well. So today, the football game, obviously you come here, everybody's dressed up. You didn't know exactly if you would be the queen or not, but I kind of said this while you guys were being introduced during halftime. It is a special night that all 10 of you guys are going to remember. Is that kind of the way that you felt even before that you were named the homecoming queen?
Yeah, so actually the 4 other girls on the court are some of my best friends. So it was really cool to get that experience with them and just do one last thing before the year goes over because we know it's going to fly by. But it was super fun and super cool, and it was just a cool experience to get one last hug in on the field, to be all together. But, yeah, it was a great group of kids.
By the way, Drew Dunwald, an 11-yard catch and then a 6-yard run here by the fullback Jaden Thomas as well. Well, one last question for you, and then I'll let you enjoy the rest. You got, I believe, a dance tomorrow that kind of wraps up this week, and then a few more weeks of this fall season, if you will, for a lot of you guys. You kind of break it down season by season. What are you hoping to see, and how excited are you for not just tomorrow in the dance, but also for the next few weeks as you kind of get deeper into the fall?
Yeah, so I'm just really excited to see how our grade just comes together for these last few months that we have, and just really embrace like all the moments and the last activities. And my goal is really just to try to get everyone involved, and so we can have these last moments as a senior class together.
Well, Dana Dunwald, I can say that you clearly, obviously deserved the honor that you received tonight
well,
as the homecoming queen. Congratulations once again, as here's a deep bomb looking down the field, just a little bit out of the outstretched arm of Nate Lasher from the arm there of Casey Stalzer. But Dana, congratulations once again. Have fun tomorrow, and good luck in your college search once again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, that is Dana Dunwald. We appreciate her for coming up and stopping on by, and we'll get Keith back in here in a moment. But it is 4th down and 4 for the Tigers here with 4:25 and counting here in the fourth quarter. See if they can continue the drive and maybe ice this game, leading 66-0 against Council Bluffs' Thomas Jefferson. Little offset I formation action. 2 wide receivers and a tight end. Here's the snap. It's going to be a handoff. Crowell. He's going to follow his big offensive lineman. He's got a first down across the 45-yard line down to the 40 in Yellowjacket territory, and it will be another first down with 4 minutes and counting left to go. So Valley well on their way here and will not face another 4th down at least until under a minute to play here in the fourth quarter. And Keith able to pull some strings and get the one of the celebrities, the ladies of the hour here, up here in the booth for a little interview in the fourth quarter.
And, wonderful person, a great speaker. She is going to be a tremendous representative for Valley High School. And
look at Crowell running zigzags all across the field. He'll be forced out inside the 5-yard line. That's going to be a 37-yard run that probably was closer to 80 by the time that he got done with it. Sorry to cut you off there, Keith, but Crowell trying to prove that he belongs in that mix in the running back position as well.
Absolutely a great effort. But as Dana was just leaving here, one of the cool things about her interview with you tonight was she's talking to you while her brother is throwing passes on the field down there. I don't know how many times that happens in the homecoming court on homecoming night. But, yes, wonderful person, a great family, and we're very happy for all of them.
And Dunwald actually had a 15-yard reception as a wide receiver while she was up here. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I'm sure that was kind of fun for her to see. Is Valley up the middle, no gain here on the first play, 2.5 minutes to go here. I'm sure they wouldn't mind not scoring again, try to move forward here as they take their time before they even approach the line of scrimmage.
Yes, the clock, at this point, the clock moves so slowly.
Because you're just waiting with bated breath. Here's a handoff, and it will be a touchdown. Jaden Thomas. You don't know how many times you're going to get in the end zone. You don't want to fall short just to fall short. So with 2:08 to go, he'll put in another one. That'll put Valley over the 70-point mark with an extra point to come. It has been a thorough domination on both sides of the football, all 3 phases if you count the special teams. Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson won their first 2 games against a couple of city schools in Sioux City, able to, they came back down to earth the last couple of weeks against better competition, and Valley just flexing their muscle. Everybody knows that they very well are a contender for the state championship and the Unidome, as there is a good PAT. We'll keep it here with 2:08 to go. But, again, I'll ask you an obvious question that I think people who want to see this team make it that far, they want to know, what did you see tonight that you didn't necessarily like? Is there anything that you can pick out that you would like to see improve by next week?
The only thing is keeping the game clean and minimizing your own mistakes. Don't self-destruct, because everything else that has happened tonight, I look at the sideline right now and I see all the guys where they should be. If there is an offensive unit that's going to go have a meeting, they're having their meeting. If they're not in a meeting, they are up on the sideline supporting the rest of their teammates. Everything right now seems to be gelling and coming together very nicely. You just need to minimize mistakes and keep your focus as long as you can.
Heck of a kickoff there. I believe that was Lennox Krell who put his boot into that one all the way to the end zone. He's got a little bit more of a stiffer wind at his back, but still, that was a nice kick. And with 2:08 to go, Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson will take it. Likely will be the last drive of the game, barring a turnover.
Yes, the clock is certainly going to continue to run unless there is a mistake made, because it does stop for a penalty.
Correct.
So if it's clean, this should be the final series, as they had to stop the clock for some reason. I don't know why it's not running right now.
I think they never started on a touchback. It never got started. So they're going to have it from the backfield. A little bit of shifty run here for about 4 yards before running into a pile. One of the men on the play there, Brian Gerardo, junior defensive lineman, able to bring him down. And it'll be 2nd and 4 here inside of 2 minutes to play. There's a lot to like. I mean, you're going to go back on the film here as a coach, and besides a couple of mistimed penalties, there's not a whole lot to complain about from what we've seen from this complete unit, as Schubert pitches it out to this near side, dragging a couple of players along for the ride here is Reese Schottfeld. Schottfeld going to have enough for a first down. They'll move the chains with 1:20 to go here in the ball game. That's 73-0 score. That's a big one.
That is a big one. That is a lot of points to put up. And there were at least 2 other touchdowns that did not come to fruition because of mistakes.
up the middle. This is Caden Rolls, the fullback, trying to drag some players forward. Gets about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Among those in on the stop for Valley, Nej Naba. This could be the last play. I'm not sure how quickly TJ is going to continue to run here. Schubert, 2nd and 7. Will pitch it to this near side. Reese Schlotfeld again. Gets a little bit loose and gets another first down. Schlotfeld showing a little bit of energy here at the end of the game. This is something that maybe will lead to more carries for him as the season moves on.
And, you know, we talked about the individual efforts that Council Bluffs TJ put out there tonight, and they're still going.
And they're
still going hard.
They're going to run another play here. Don't need to, but they will. 10 seconds left. Schubert drops back, looking to throw. Fires it into traffic. That one is dropped. Nearly an interception made by Destin Payne. And that one just bobbled, and the clock will wind down to zeros following the incompletion. 73-0, West Des Moines Valley over Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. We'll take a break, come back with the postgame show, and wrap it up for you right after this. It's Valley Football on CISN.
Save thousands in Waukee. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. 2019 Silverado 1500 Double Cab up to 25% off. 2019 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT or RST up to 20% off MSRP or up to $5,000 off plus 0% for 72 months. We're in a position to give you more for your trade in Waukee. 2019 Colorado up to $7,000 off or $5,000 off plus 1.9% for 60 months or 2.9% for 72 months. These won't last. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Is this guy a contractor who does good work or a contractor who needs work? For a reliable recommendation, trust the Better Business Bureau, protecting consumers for over a century. When you go to bbb.org to check out a business, you'll learn if it's BBB accredited, see its grade on customer service, and read honest, useful reviews from local people. For online recommendations you can trust, start with trust at bbb.org/Iowa.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
Hi, I'm Chris from Fireplace Superstore. Fall is upon us and fireplace season is here, and you need a new Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert. They're the perfect thing to make that old wood fireplace more beautiful, warmer, and easier to use. And right now, Heat and Glow is giving a $200 rebate, making it even easier for you to upgrade that old fireplace. Please come see them today, Fireplace Superstore, 109th and Douglas in Urbandale.
It's the post-game show live here from Valley Stadium. West Des Moines Valley picks up a 73-0 win to open up District 7 play against Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. The first thing that we need to talk about before we do anything else is who are a couple of guys that stood out as maybe MVPs of the game for Valley tonight?
For Valley, as you take a look at it, I'm going to say that the offensive line as a collective really deserves the honor as far as just getting the ball moving, setting up great protection. I'm guessing in the first half, I think we only had 1 or 2 plays that didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Everything else was down the field and down the field a ways. But as far as an MVP, I'm going to go back to what we were talking about. The absolute, in my mind, the absolute hardest worker on the field tonight, Jermaine Green for Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson. That kid is impressive. And when he had a full head of steam on that punt that went over his head, the snap went over his head, and he's coming downfield, Nate Lasher, the Courage Award tonight, making that tackle because he got in there. And when contact was made, it only went an extra 5 yards, and I thought it was going to go an extra 50. It was a collision, and Nate Lasher stood the test of an extra 70 pounds coming down hard on him, and I'm going to go with that just on the courage side of things.
Yeah, that on the film, that probably will get the most praise for any one play from the coaching staff,
Yes.
because that's a first down if he doesn't get in the way. And like I said, that's a tough ask. I played a little bit of football, nothing too big on the varsity level, but even then, in small football, when you get those big guys coming after you, a lot of times you just want to kind of olay them and try to trip them up from behind. He did not do that. He got right in the way and took the brunt of that punishment as well. Again, the final score 73-0. Not a whole lot to complain about if you're a Valley fan. We're going to go ahead and take one more break, wrap up this game, and look ahead to next week right after this. Valley football right here on CISN.
Every month or so, there's another story in the media about when and how often we need to get our mammograms. Kind of confusing. When this happens, I like to consult with experts. So I called Iowa Radiology. They recommend women get an annual mammogram starting at age 40. They know that it's the best way to detect cancers early and save lives. And that's good enough for me. Visit iowaradiology.com or call to schedule your mammogram. Iowa Radiology, our focus is your good health.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Schottenkirk Ford Indianola's kickoff event. This month only. Take $16,000 off MSRP on every brand new 2019 Ford F-150 Crew Cab XLT 4x4 in stock. Plus, first responders receive an additional $1,000 bonus cash on new 2019 F-150 Super Duty, Expedition, and Ranger. New 2019 Fusion and Escape starting at just $18,999. Ford fans drive to Indianola to buy Fords. A kickoff event. Schottenkirk Ford Indianola. SchottenkirkFord.com.
Back one final time here at Valley Stadium. 73-0. Valley victorious after just throttling Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson in all three phases here tonight to open up District 7 play in Class 4A. Valley 5-0 now on the season. Thomas Jefferson drops to 2-3. We know Valley's not just trying to win this district. They want to wrap up an undefeated regular season, come in with a ton of steam going into the playoffs in a month's time. But looking ahead to to Urbandale, and that's on the road. Urbandale a little bit tricky. I don't think that I don't think anybody would say that Urbandale is also a Unidome team as well, but that's a team that's trying to find a way to be in the top 16 in the RPI and move on, in a team that has been tricky for some other suburban schools in the last couple of years. What do you expect from the Jayhawks next week?
I expect a lot of movement in the backfield and trying to trick your defense into finding where the ball actually is. So they're going to do a lot of motion. They're going to throw the ball. They're going to run the ball. And they have some very good athletes that are going to be able to do that. So from Valley's standpoint, they really have to do some good work this week in the film room, because you take a look at what builds success. Great teams, they work together, they support each other, they're in the weight room, they are having fun, they do all these different things, they play hard, fast, they make big plays, they make great defensive plays, and all the time that they're doing this, they're giving 100% of what they have. But championship teams, they do all those things and minimize mistakes. And so if Valley is going to really truly make a run for it, they have to minimize the self-destructive things that they do. And sometimes that actually happens because you're overplaying, trying to get one last push to get your running back an extra yard, or you're going to hold on just 1/2 second longer so that your quarterback has a chance to throw. Those mistakes have to be minimized. Now, Would you rather take a holding call than a big-time sack and get your quarterback clocked for the season? Absolutely. So there are penalties that sometimes have to happen, but up front, to minimize those mistakes, you have to make sure that you're moving your feet, you're taking the correct first step, all those things to enable yourself to minimize those things. And that's where it's going to be, making sure you get back to the basics of football: blocking, hitting, tackling, throwing, catching.
Well, that is certainly something that you're going to be able to do, because no disrespect to District 7, but this is not one of the toughest districts that Valley could have ended up in with some other Unidome teams. Urbandale next week on the road. Like I said, that could be maybe the trickiest one that you have on the schedule. At home here against Council Bluffs, Abe Lincoln, who will be the next home game. That's in 2 weeks' time on the 11th of October. At Ames, not a lot of people are expecting a lot out of Ames in the district play. And then you wrap up here at home against Des Moines North. So it isn't it isn't anything like what you saw the first 4 weeks in that non-conference schedule that Valley went 4-0 against, but you do know that better teams are going to be waiting when the playoffs do come around, and this is an opportunity for you to get plenty of guys ready, but also to clean up those mistakes and make sure that you're a well-oiled machine by the time that those games that really, really super-duper count, win or go home, you're able to do that. Any final thoughts before we sign off tonight, Keith?
I think, with the district play here and the road that Valley is currently on, we want to send our thoughts out to some of the guys that maybe sustained some injuries tonight, and hope that they are going to be minimal at most and get back healthy, ready to go.
Absolutely. Keith, it's been a pleasure working with you. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
All right, that is Keith Bornis. My name is Emery Songer. We appreciate the entire crew here live from Valley Stadium. We thank you for joining us as well. Valley defeats Council Bluffs Thomas Jefferson by a score of 73-0, and you watched it and heard it right here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.